lesson is presented by BlackBerry. The Rangers have not had a game here in Arlington in the postseason since 1999. It's Game 3 of the American League Division Series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Texas Rangers. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Buck Martinez. The Rangers, the only franchise in the majors, have not won a postseason series, and right now have a chance to do that today. They've won the first two games of this series, outscoring the Rays 11-1 so far, and they've done it with the long ball.
Well, they sure have, Don. This ball club only hit 162 home runs during the regular season. That was the lowest total since '92. But Nelson Cruz with a green light home run on a 3-0 count got it started. Benjamin Molina followed up. Ian Kinsler with another solo home run. But the big home run, the 3-run shot by Michael Young that made it 5-0 Texas in Game 2. They are a diversified offense right now, but they still have a lot of pop in this lineup.
On the other side, the Tampa Bay Rays had 47 victories away from the top this season. That's the best in the majors. Joe Madden hands the baseball to Matt Garza with the season on the line.
Well, it sure is on the line, and Matt Garza is able to step up and give him a great performance, as he did back in August against this Rangers ball club. Garza struck out 10 in that ball game. That was his season high, and he did it with a combination of a powerful fastball and very good command of his off-speed pitches. Garza has no-hit stuff. We saw that back in July when he no-hit for Tigers. He was great in the 2008 postseason. He was the American League MVP in the ALCS. The big thing for Garza, he's going to have to replicate that. He beat John Lester and the Red Sox in Game 7 to push his team to the World Series.
Colby Lewis is on the mound for the Texas Rangers. He's been in Japan the last 2 years, leading in strikeouts. He's back having a very good year. This Rangers ballpark is fired up for Game 3 of the series, and it's coming your way next. For you here so far than what we saw at Tropicana Field. They are revved and ready. The first postseason game here since 1999, and you couldn't ask for better conditions. 85 degrees here in Arlington, Texas. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Well, as the Rangers have taken the field here this afternoon, let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays starting nine, and it's a little different looking lineup than what we saw at Tropicana Field. It's John Jaso leads it off. He does the catching with Ben Zobrist at second base. Carl Crawford is in left field with Evan Longoria at third base. Matt Joyce is in right field. Dan Johnson is in there as the DH, batting sixth. Carlos Pena drops in the order. He was 0 for 3 with 3 Ks in the first game, did not play in the second game. It is B.J. Upton who bats eighth. He's in center field and so far 0 for 8 in the series. And Jason Bartlett at shortstop bats ninth. On the mound is Colby Lewis, and as we mentioned, Lewis has been in Japan the last 2 years. A much different guy than we saw in the majors before he went to Japan.
Well, he sure is a lot different, Don. He's not a power pitcher any longer. He made 32 starts this season, had a very good ERA, pitched over 200 innings. And look at the opponent's batting average. To me, that's a real telltale sign. He's got overpowering stuff, and as Ron Washington told us this morning, he's a swing and a miss pitcher. He will create an awful lot of opportunities to rack up the strikeouts here this afternoon. Defensively for Texas behind Lewis, it's Murphy who's back in the lineup after that groin injury. Josh Hamilton's in center field, Nelson Cruz in right, the Gold Glover at third, Michael Young, Elvis Andrews, Ian Kinsler up the middle. The rookie Mitch Moreland at first, and Benjamin Molina returns behind the plate. He was back there in game one for Cliff Lee. He's back there again this afternoon for Colby Lewis.
Colby Lewis ready to work here in game 3 of the American League Division Series. As John Jaso stands in on the left side. Sun filtering down onto the field here. Rangers, and the first pitch of this one is missing for ball one, and we're underway.
John Jaso, the first catcher to lead off a postseason game since 2006 when Jason Kendall did it for the A's.
He is 1 for 1 in this series as he pinch hit and takes a strike. Evening the count at 1-1. It is unusual to see the catcher at the top of the order, but John Madden has done it a lot during the course of the season. He actually had a losing record with him in the top spot in the order. They are 21-24 when he is the leadoff hitter. And Jason Kendall. As Jaso hits it in the air to left, David Murphy is there, and there's one down. David Murphy, for the first time appearing in this series in left field, and battling a groin problem at the end of the year. And missed the first 2 games, but the first ball finding him out there in left field for the first out.
Had a real good workout on the off day yesterday and convinced Ron Washington he was good enough to go. And as Washington said, nobody's 100% this time of the season.
One down here in the first inning. It brings up Ben Zobrist. This lineup shuffling around again for Joe Madden. Zobrist 2 for 7 so far in the ALDS as he takes strike one. The regular season that saw his offensive numbers go down, just a .238 average during the regular season. 75 runs batted in and 10 home runs.
One thing the Ranger starters have done against this Rays lineup, they've thrown a lot of first pitch strikes, and that has taken the Rays out of their offensive philosophy.
Strike over the outside corner. It's tough to be patient when you're always down 0-1. It seemed that was the case in the first 2 games.
Yeah, both Cliff Lee and C.J. Wilson threw an awful lot of first pitch strikes.
One down here in the first, Zobrist. Down in the count, 1-2. On the ground on the first baseline. Right to Moreland will take it to the bag. 2 down. Now playing late-day baseball here in Texas, and shadows are going to be a factor right now as they hover over that first base line at the moment.
Yeah, they're real problem for hitters at this time of the day because you can see the mound is in sunshine and then the shadows starting to creep up over home plate. As the game goes on and the hitters are in the shade, the ball's going to be very difficult to pick up. You see the dark background in center field. It's going to be a real challenge for hitters to especially identify the breaking ball.
So down here in the first inning, as Carl Crawford stands into the left side. Rangers trying to keep him off the base paths, obviously. Big year and likely his last year. The Tampa Bay Rays, 307, 19 homers, 90 runs batted in. And a swing and miss.
Michael Young in front of the bag at third to guard against the speed of Crawford. He doesn't bunt much.
Crawford lines it to center field, and that'll get in for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Carl Crawford. And it's aboard here for the Rays in the first inning.
The Rays had just 8 hits in the first 2 games, including 2 last time they faced this ball club. It's a pretty good swing down and away, and a good pitch by Lewis, but Crawford stays on it. That's one thing the Rays are going to have to do, is kind of stay at the big part of the diamond. Don't get full conscious trying to knock the ball out of the yard. Just take the pitches that the Rangers are going to give you.
Well, banged up Evan Longoria at the end of the year with a quad problem, and certainly not 100%. But as you mentioned, and Ron Washington mentioned to us before the game, nobody is 100% at this time of the year. But we could tell that Longoria is certainly not 100% in the first 2 games, as he has gone 1 for 8 in the first 2 games of this division series.
Missed 10 games at the end of the season, and there is some rust factor in this. When you're out at home, you're concerned about your timing, and you really become vulnerable to breaking balls. I think it's easier to adjust to the timing of hitting the fastball, but the breaking ball really proves to be a problem when you've missed some time.
Concerned about Crawford's speed as Lewis to first base, but Crawford back to the bag.
Couldn't have told us before the game they are not going to stop their running game. Bay Steelers have been successful against Colby Lewis, and Crawford has 47 steals during the regular season.
This one slowly rolled foul. Colby Lewis, who finished the year under 500 individually at 12 and 13, but a 3.72 earned run average. He was much better at home here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. He was 6 and 4, 6 and 9 on the road. Those 2 seasons, Hiroshi won the Japanese Central League. And as I mentioned, he led there in strikeouts in the 2 years he was in Japan. As Longoria fouls it off to the right.
That's a pitch that Colby Lewis developed in Japan, the ability to throw the changeup. And you can see his numbers before he went to Japan and how much he's improved in his return. Dramatic improvement in the ERA.
Originally a 38th overall draft pick by Texas in '99. The 1-2 pitch to Evan Longoria will have to wait as they check on Crawford again.
To give you an idea how tough Colby Lewis has been on right-handed hitters this year, the league hit .216 against Lewis from the right side.
Longoria strikes out to conclude the top of the first inning. Half an inning done in this one. The Rangers are coming up. The last of the first, and this is what their starting nine looks like. Elvis Andrus leading it off at shortstop. Michael Young at third base, the former batting champion. This year's batting champion, Josh Hamilton, is in center field. Vladimir Guerrero, the DH. With Nelson Cruz in right field. Ian Kinsler at second base, bats sixth. David Murphy's first appearance of the series in left field, batting seventh. Benji Molina catches his second game of the series. And Mitch Moreland bats ninth at first base. 0 for 4 so far in the series. And on the mound is Matt Garza, the 26-year-old. On the hill and trying to keep this season going for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Now, he established career highs with his 15-win season. Also pitched 204 and 2/3 innings. Garza's a power pitcher that can rack up the strikeouts. Joe Madden wants to see Garza throw that fastball around 93 miles an hour to strike one to start this game.
Garza ready, and his first pitch is in 93 and on a downward plane. So there you go.
Well, so much is important for Joe Madden that Garza maintains his composure. Very excitable, a lot of adrenaline, and he knows the importance of this ball game. An elimination game for Tampa Bay.
They've been trying to channel some of that energy that he exhibits before the game, the day before, all during his warm-ups. This is his 5th career postseason start. He was 2-1 with a 3.96 ERA in 4 starts in 08, and of course was named the American League Championship Series MVP against the Boston Red Sox after winning Game 3 and Game 7. 24 years of age at that point as he beat John Lester in both those starts. And 0-2 to Andrus is away for ball 1, 1-2.
Garza throws all 4 pitches. He's got a very good fastball with good movement down. He'll give up the home run, but of his 28 home runs he allowed this year, 11 of them came in 3 games. He gave up 7 to Boston in 2 games and had a 4-homer game to the Orioles.
1-2 pitch in the dirt. Did he go? They check. No, says Bill Miller, the first base umpire.
Why not start out with a check swing, huh?
Right out of the gate.
Nobody got too excited about that one. Michael Young's check swing, of course, created a lot of controversy in Game 2.
The eventual ejection of Joe Madden from Game 2. Much more relaxed Joe Madden today as they prepare for Game 3 in the first game here in Arlington. 2-2 to Andrus is in there for strike 3. 96 that time as Garza reaches back and Andrus takes it for strike 1. For the first out here, the first inning.
Talk about check swing. Game 2, 5th inning. Michael Young at the plate, 2 strikes. Checks his swing. The appeal to Jerry Meals denied. The dugout incensed, and then sure enough, the next pitch from Chad Quarles, a 3-run homer to center field. That made it 5-0 Rangers.
Completely changed the complexion of the game. And then, of course, Joe Madden went out to talk to Qualls and then was ejected from the game as Michael Young stands in and takes strike 1. He has a home run of his own in this American League Division Series. Knocked in 3 runs, had 21 home runs during the regular season. And a strike over the outside corner.
Already from that center field shot, you can see the shadows creeping across home plate, creating a real challenge for the hitters. The ball comes from the bright sunshine into the shadows. Difficult to see the spin on the ball.
2 pitches down and away, 1-2. Of course, Matt Garza throwing the first no-hitter in Rays history back on July 26th against the Detroit Tigers. A season high 120 pitches during that outing. He's the minimum 27 batters in the no-hitter. Did walk 1 batter. But got a double play right after that. As the count evens at 2-2 to Michael Young.
Garza has been particularly tough in the first inning. Over his last 18 starts of the regular season, he's allowed just 1 run in the first inning, so he has a pretty good ability to get off and running in the first.
The Rangers have pretty good ability getting off and running. 93 first inning runs for them, tied for 3rd best inning for them. And there's Josh Hamilton waiting on deck with 1 out in the bottom of the first. And the former president George Bush in the background. Former owner of this Texas Rangers team. The 3-2 is on the ground to first base. Peña's got it. He'll take it himself to the bag. 2 down.
And the Rays have gone back to a more traditional defense with Penny at first. It's Crawford, Upton, and Matt Joyce gets the start in right field. Upside, the Gold Glover, Evan Longoria, Bartlett, and Zobrist up the middle. The Gold Glover, Carlos Peggy at first. And John Jaso gets the start behind the plate to call the pitches for Matt Garza.
2 down in the first inning. Here is the batting champion, Josh Hamilton. The MVP chant here in Arlington. 32 home runs, 100 RBIs, and a .359 average during the regular season as he takes strike one.
Well, I love Garza's tempo here as he throws that breaking ball over to Hamilton. Looks like he's really in a good spot emotionally. He's got his emotions under control to start this game.
Hamilton with a swing and a foul. All he did was hit .390 at home to lead all Major League Baseball. We talked about his overall .359 batting average right here at the Rangers ballpark. .390 during the regular season, and watch the ball change colors on the way in.
Yeah, all the way to the hitting zone, it's white, and then it disappears in the dark shadows.
Garza striking out Andrews, getting Young to ground out to first. Now ahead of Hamilton, 1-2. In the air to shallow left center as Carl Crawford makes his way in and puts it away. Matt Garza has a 1-2-3 first. We're done with one from Arlington. No score in game 3. Park in Arlington. First got the bullpen. The Jets out there in right center field here with the Rangers relievers are housed. And it's 404 out there to left center, 407 to right center. And leading it off and grounding one is Joyce. It is off of Moreland into foul ground, but covering. And in time is Colby Lewis. Nice play by the pitcher to get over there to cover, and they just do now. Matt Joyce at first base.
Well, Mitch Moreland did a good job of staying with that ball. He knocked it down and then stayed with it into foul territory. Kobe Lewis breaks off the mound, and once he sees the ball into foul ground, he's got to get to the bag. Matt Joyce with the slide, but you can see Lewis has perfect position to receive the ball and step on the bag. Once you knock it down, you just got to stay with it. Moreland goes into foul territory and makes a perfect throw to Lewis covering first.
One out here in the second inning, and here is Dan Johnson, who gets the start as the DH. He batted under 200 during the regular season at 198. He was the International League MVP playing for Durham this season. Hitting at 303 at AAA with 30 home runs. And did not make his season debut until August the 3rd. A total of 42 home runs in the majors over his first 3 years with the Oakland A's in 05 to 07. As Lewis with the strike to him, and Johnson batting here in the 6th spot will be followed by Pena as the Rays bat here in the second inning. High, and it is 2-2.
Dan Johnson faced Kobe Lewis in Japan. They played in different leagues. One was in the Central, one was in the Pacific. He remembers facing him over there, but he only had a couple of bats.
Johnson strikes out. It's the second strikeout for Lewis, and there's 2 down here in the second inning. Let's check in with Mark Fine. Mark?
Hey, guys, I am holding the hottest selling shirt in Texas right now. On the front, it's got a claw. On the back, it's got the antlers. We might have just seen the antlers after that defensive play. These are hand signs, guys. You get antlers for a good play that involves speed. The claw is basically your long-distance high five. It has caught fire here in Texas. They cannot keep these shirts on the shelves, and you will see we get good play from Texas, the sign of the claw, the sign of the antlers throughout the day, guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. There are the antlers. We saw cars with antlers on them as we were coming over the line. It is catching fire here in the Texas area.
The antlers based on Josh Hamilton saying run like a deer. And Hamilton has a trophy deer head mounted above his locker in the Rangers locker room. So when there's a play that involves speed, the entire dugout will give that player the antlers. Shadows becoming more dramatic here.
That was the top of the first frame, and now here in the second inning, the second frame is the pitch misses to Carlos Pena, who's back in the lineup here. After missing the second game, in game 1, he was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and had a very tough first game. So rather than have him face yet another lefty, Joe Madden puts him on the bench for game 2. He's back in there today. After a down season for Pena, no doubt. He didn't get to 30 home runs. He had 28, but the batting average under 200. He hit 196 during the regular season.
He's always a threat, but you can see the batting average less than 200 with some pop. Reynolds, McGuire, and Pena.
First time in 4 seasons with the Rays that he's not reached the 30 home run plateau. 2-2 pitch. Straightens up Pena, and a full count now. Joe Madden, who's used so many different lineups during the course of the season, and Pena is certainly one of the guys who's been shuffled around. He was batted in 5 different spots in the lineup this season, primarily in the 4th and 5th spots. Fouls it off to the left and out play.
Watch the difference in the baseball when it travels from Lewis's hand to home plate. White, then it disappears. And believe me, it's very difficult to pick up any spin on that ball at all. And in fact, it becomes a blur when it gets into those shadows.
So far, only 1 hit in the game. 3-2 to Pena. There's ball 4. Carlos Pena down to first with the first free pass served up by Kobe Lewis. So second base runner for the Rays. They had a 2-out base runner in Carl Crawford in the first, but then Lewis came back to strike out Longoria. B.J. Upton will get a chance, and he so far has not been able to do anything at the plate for the Rays in the division series. He is 0 for 8 in the series. missed for strike one. Look at the guys that they rely on heavily to get it done for the Rays, and what they have done combined. One hit in their last 23 at-bats combined between these three, Upton, Crawford, and Longoria. And largely the reason that they have not been able to win one of these games. Down to third, Young will go to second. The force out there concludes the top of the second. Inning and a half done from Arlington, Texas. No score in Game 3. By BlackBerry Torch and the Tampa Bay Rays with 47 victories on the road, more than anybody else. For detailed MLB stats and information, go to MLB.yahoo.com now. That is the bottom of the second inning back at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And Vladimir Guerrero, one of the biggest offseason acquisitions for any team. With a swing at the first pitch and a foul back to the screen. He played in 152 games this year for the Rangers, his highest total since playing in 156 games back in 06. Named to his 9th All-Star team this year. Guerrero will be followed by Cruz and Kinsler in the inning as Garza missing away. And Garza had a 1-2-3 first on 15 pitches. Guerrero was a late signing by the Rangers. He didn't sign until January the 9th. He sends it foul back and out of play, and it's 1-2.
Guerrero was really banged up last year for the Angels. He had shoulder problems. His knees were bad and just couldn't get a good solid foundation underneath him. And you can see how well he's hit in this ballpark, and that was the attraction the Rangers had in bringing Guerrero in as a free agent. Only Tim Salmon and Mark Ellis have hit better in this ballpark than Vladdy Guerrero.
1-2 pitch, and it is up the middle, but nicely picked on the backhand by Zobrist, who fires to first for the out. He ended up being positioned perfectly, and you've seen a lot of that in this series. Zobrist in the right spot that time on this one hopper.
We have seen a lot of very hard-hit balls right at the defenders in this series. Joe Madden and Ron Washington both put a lot of stock into setting up the defense properly. And what you do is you guard against the hard-hit balls. And that was exactly where Zobrist was supposed to be positioned. Garza threw it in the right spot, and Zobrist was there to make the play.
1 out, 4 in a row retired by Garza. And here is Nelson Cruz, who's in right field for the Rangers. He's a guy that battled injuries, played only 108 games during the regular season, 3 separate trips to the DL. And only 1 trip to the DL last year. And a flair for the dramatic this year. 3 walk-off home runs this season. On the ground to third base. It's gathered by Longoria. Throw across is in time, and there's 2 down.
Again, Garza not looking for velocity, but trying to create movement and staying down in the zone. He's a fly-ball pitcher. And gives up the home run. We talked about 28 home runs allowed. But today, it looks like he's very comfortable creating movement with his fastball and working down in the zone.
28 home runs, the 4th most in the American League. On the wild side on occasion as well. 12 wild pitches. 2 down here in the 2nd inning for Ian Kinsler. 3 for 8 so far in the division series. He's one of the Rangers' home runs. Spent a lot of the first 2 games talking about how the Rangers have so many ways to beat you, which is much different from what they had before. Generally a one-dimensional team in the past. And then they go out and hit all those home runs again, and they win both games.
Well, they've only hit 162 during the regular season, and Ron Washington knows that it's a balanced attack. They still have guys that are dangerous and can knock it out of the yard. But it's taken Ron Washington a while to convince these guys that have been here with Texas that there's more to it than hitting home runs. You can see how the home runs have dropped, but the run production has increased. They can manufacture runs, but they still have the ability to knock the ball out of the ballpark.
Kinsler on a check swing. He did go. This is Ben Miller, first base umpire.
Again, it's a breaking ball that creates problems for a hitter. Kinsler trying to check his swing on a curveball, and Bill Miller down at first called it a swing.
So 2-2 to Kinsler, with 2 down here in the 2nd inning. And a full count now. Kinsler now, David Murphy waiting on deck. Second full count for Matt Garza of his outing. Kinsler, another guy who battled injuries, played in only 103 games during the regular season. They'll take the walk with 2 down on the first base runner of the day for the Rangers.
We talk about the ability of the Rangers to manufacture runs. Now they have a base runner at first that can steal. Ian Kinsler, 15 for 20 in steals. And believe me, Ron Washington wants to get the lead early. He thinks that he can really get this crowd into it if they jump out to an early lead.
Kinsler gaining his lead at first base with 2 down. David Murphy, first appearance of the series, battling a groin injury at the end of the year. He was trying to steal a base and came on blame, and doing whatever he can to get ready. And proved yesterday during the workout to Ron Washington that he could play in today's game. Badly wanted to play. This year set a career high for games played, 138 games for the Rangers this year, for the former first-round draft choice of the Red Sox. Murphy lines it into right center field, a base hit. Kinsler is headed for third as Joyce gets it back into the infield. Wild throw back in, but no further advance. The Rangers have runners at the corners with 2 down.
This is an extra base ballpark. There's a lot of room in the gaps, and it's almost as quick as the artificial surface in Tropicana Field. Matt Joyce does a good job to cut this ball off the high fastball, and Murphy rides it over the infield to the gap in right center. Joyce does a good job to cut it off. They know they have to cut these balls off to eliminate the extra bases. And look at the defense. There are 4 guys in line to back up that play to ensure that Kinsler can't score on the overthrow.
Well, the Rangers started the year with Jared Saltalamacchia, Taylor Teagarden doing the catching. Trainer and Molina have been doing it since about midseason, and Molina acquired on July the 1st. They had a big first game of this series. And a home run, 2 runs batted in game 1. Trainer caught game 2, and here is Molina in game 3 in a spot here. And Rangers trying to get something done with 2 down in the second inning.
Molina is a very good up fastball hitter.
Oh, wild swing and a miss.
Molina in game 1 hit a home run to left field on a waist-high fastball. He drilled it into the seats. He would add 2 more hits to the opposite field, but he likes the ball up, out over the plate, and he's a great clutch hitter.
Been in the postseason 3 times before. One from Garza. On the ground to third base. Longoria will go to first with it. Not a good throw, but leaning to grab it into foul ground is Pena to make the out, and Garza, he's out of the jam. So the Rangers threaten but don't score. We're scoreless.
You're talking to Longoria, he said, don't think about your throws. He almost airmailed that one. He knew he had so much time with Molina running. He just kind of goosed it across the field. Look at the stretch Pena has to use to get Molina out. They've got to relax and turn the ball loose on the infield.
There's Jason Bartlett to lead it off for the Rays. It's a fly ball out to right field. Nelson Cruz is back there, and he puts it away. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on TBS and Fox. Well, it is game number 3 of this American League Division Series. The first game from this venue, Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And the first postseason game held here since 1999. One out here in the third inning for John Jaso.
Jaso led off for the Rays 45 times during the regular season. As a leadoff hitter, he had a .380 on base percentage. Pretty effective hitting in the one spot.
There are really two different lineups during the course of the year for Joe Madden. And the primary leadoff hitter against right-handed starters over the last 2 months of the season. He hit .274 against right-handers, only .191 against lefties. His best work on the road at .315 away from Tropicana Field. He strikes out. Gets the bad news from Jerry Neal's home plate umpire. It's a third K for Colby Lewis, and there's 2 down.
Well, Colby Lewis has a lot of weapons to attack the strike zone. He will throw breaking balls to both sides of the plate. This is a slider that he drops on the outside corner. The thing about Lewis now, as opposed to when he was first here with the Rangers, he works very quickly. He throws everything over for a strike, and he's really going to put pressure on these hitters today, just pounding the strike zone with several different pitches.
And Zobrist, the recipient of strike one, is Lewis ahead again. Zobrist grounded out first base in the first inning, 0 for 1. When you watch some pitching staffs that are successful, and you take a look at how each guy tries to outdo the next, and you see the first 2 guys on the front end of this rotation that we have seen, and outstanding. And you imagine that Colby Lewis, even though he's not left-handed, gets something from those 2.
Well, they always talk about hitting being contagious, but I think pitching is contagious as well. And you see Lee and Wilson pound the strike zone and change speeds very effectively, and Colby Lewis said that'll work for me too.
He's ahead again. 1-2 the count to Ben Zobrist. He's got 3 Ks. And make it 4. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the top of the third. We're through 2.5 without a score in Game 3. is presented by BlackBerry. And a nice look in behind home plate here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. The former president, George W. Bush, with his BlackBerry in hand. Right in behind home plate, former owner of the Rangers. And the Texas Rangers trying to sweep the Tampa Bay Rays in this best-of-5 series. Rangers have won the first 2 games. We're scoreless as we head to the last half of the 3rd inning. And Mitch Moreland taking a hack at the first pitch and sending it foul off to the left.
Mitch Moreland was drafted out of Mississippi State. 17th round pick. And when spring training began, he was 3rd on the depth chart at first base behind Chris Davis and Justin Smoke. And here he is in the postseason making his 2nd start.
This one down the left field line. It'll get in fair to the corner. Carl Crawford over to play it. Moreland is headed for second base. He will get there standing. A double to start the last half of the 3rd inning for Texas.
Texas has done a terrific job of staying in the middle and going opposite field against the Rays. This is the 20th hit for Texas, and it's an opposite field double. Good pitch down and away from Garza. Moreland stays right with it. The Rangers throughout this series haven't tried to do too much. They've stayed in the middle of the diamond. It's proved to be very effective. That's the 12th hit that's either been straight away or to the opposite field.
So a double for Moreland to start this last half of the 3rd inning. 2nd time through the order now for Matt Garza. Here is Elvis Andrus, who was struck out looking in the 1st inning. The only K so far for Garza. Showing bunt, pulls back and takes ball 1 as they crash from the corners.
Andrew's a very good bunter, and Dave Anderson, the third base coach, going through the signs, and you could see Longoria well in on the grass at third base. Pena doing the same over at first. Ideally, Andrus would love to put this ball down on the third base side of the diamond.
This one will get away. Kicks off Jaso, and to third goes Moreland. They don't even need to give up the out as they get the runner to third base. As it gets by the Rays catcher John Jaso, and to third goes Moreland.
This was a concern for Joe Madden way back in spring training. Jaso had a lot of trouble, and right here he just can't catch it. It's going to be a pass ball. He gets handcuffed. But we mentioned how difficult it is to see for the hitters. Equally difficult for the catchers right now. The shadows are a major problem, and right there, it's just a simple pass ball off the glove of Jaso.
You have the bright background now. As both the pitcher and the home plate area in the shadows at the moment. Late day baseball from Arlington. Garza backs off, and backing out is Andrus.
The Rangers will squeeze. Andrus is a very good bunter, and he can bunt to both sides of the diamond. Pena is about 5 feet onto the grass at first base.
Grounded up the middle. Bartlett with a play at first. He makes it, but the run scores, and the Rangers strike first. From third, Moreland is in, and the Rangers lead it 1-0.
Ron Washington has definitely changed the mindset of this Rangers offensively. The Rangers ball club always thinking about cashing in on their scoring opportunities. Andrews stays in the middle of the diamond again. Grounds out to the shortstop. But on the ground out, Moreland comes in to score. They take advantage of the leadoff double on the pass ball, just a bouncing ball up the middle. Infield was back. Moreland scores easily, and the Rangers have the lead again.
One down here in the third inning. The run in, base is empty for Michael Young. And Young will tap it foul at the plate. Grounded out to the first baseman, Carlos Pena, in the first inning.
Again, productive outs important for the Rangers attack. In fact, for both of these ball clubs, they're very good at having productive outs by advancing base runners on outs. Whether they're fly ball deep enough to the outfield or ground balls, put the ball in play.
And then for strike 2, and it's 0-2. For so many years, a one-dimensional team, the Texas Rangers, that didn't have any pitching. Try to beat you with a long ball, scoring a bunch of runs, but just didn't go anywhere. And first time in the postseason since '99 when they had bought in fully. Washington has been selling here. Is on the ground as Zobrist at second, and Michael Young is retired 2 down here in the 3rd inning. There's a little bit of a look at what they're doing now and where they finished. Impressive.
Sacrifice bunts. They didn't even know what a sacrifice bunt was here down in Texas before Washington got here. But infield hits, their first, 304 productive outs, and 5th in stolen bases. They've changed their entire offensive profile.
2 down in the 3rd inning. Josh Hamilton takes ball 1. Hamilton flying out to left field in the 1st inning. There's a strike, and it is 1-1 now to Hamilton. You think about the home runs hit by the Rangers, too. It's not coming from the big guns. That's the other thing. So Hamilton does not have a home run here yet in the postseason. 32 during the regular season. Big swing and a miss there. 1-2. We've not seen any ill effects from the broken ribs that he had happen towards the end of the year. The flak jacket in the first couple of games of this series.
The Rays are not going to give Hamilton enough fastball into the strike zone. They continue to give him a steady diet of changeups and breaking balls. They'll only tease him with the fastball.
Ground foul towards the end of the Rangers dugout.
Texas fans chanting MVP when Hamilton came into the batter's box. And the one thing about Hamilton is that he hit 400 for a span of 82 games from June 1st until he was hurt on September 4th. That was higher by 54 points than anybody in baseball over that span.
Swing and a miss. Garza strikes him out, but it's the Rangers who strike first. They lead at 1-0 at the end of 3.
Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Back at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Don Orsillo along with Buck Martinez and Mark Fine as we bring you Game 3 of the American League Division Series. And this crowd was here very early and primed and ready for their first look here at the postseason since '99. As this one is fouled off to the left by Carl Crawford. The Rangers have a 1-0 lead. They strike first with a run in the bottom of the third inning. Crawford possesses the only hit so far for the Rays off Kobe Lewis. Has 4 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. Crawford gets jammed and pops it up, foul ground. Molina and Young. It'll be Young, the third baseman, who puts it away. Let's send it down to Mark Fine. Mark.
All right, yeah, you know, if you're wondering about the ability of this Rays team to stay loose, Joe Madden worked very hard at keeping them loose all season long. One of the things he did on the road, they dress in various states of attire, all kinds of different outfits. One of them, after they were no-hit for the second time, he found out that it was Pants Roland, who was the manager of the last team to be no-hit twice in a season. He had the guys wear loudmouth pants on the road in honor of Pants Roland. The reason why? Well, those 1917 White Sox, not only were they no-hit twice, guys, they also went on to win the World Series. There's also a picture of Pants Roland on the desk of Joe Madden. Guys?
All right, thanks very much, Mark. There were many others of these themed road trips for Joe Madden. The Brazers, they wore to Oakland and to Los Angeles in August. The hockey jerseys. This is slowly rolled to Andrews, who goes on the run and in time to get Evan Longoria. Nice play by Andrews, and there's 2 down here in the 4th inning. You mentioned the Brazers to Oakland and to Los Angeles. That's some kind of look. And then they had the hockey jerseys they wore to Toronto during the Stanley Cup Finals in May. And the all-white team to Miami. And then the urban cowboy look to Colorado and to New York in June. I mean, that's team unity.
Well, it is team unity, and Joe is always concerned about building chemistry, and that chemistry is going to be tested here this afternoon. They've fallen behind again to the Texas Rangers, and they're going to have to dig down deep, and everybody has to get on the same rope right now because they are on the verge of elimination. And all that team building, that has really been the reason why this club won 96 games during the regular season.
Matt Joyce standing in with 2 down and nobody on here in the 4th inning. This Rays team has mustered 1 run in the American League Division Series. A home run by Ben Zobrist. That has been it.
Well, the old adage is good pitching will shut down good ball clubs, and we have seen that with the Rangers. They have pitched very aggressively.
This is on the ground and by the dive of Kinsler at second into right field. Matt Joyce collects the 2nd hit for the Rays of the ball game, and the first hit since the 1st inning.
Well, Matt Joyce gets the start, and he's got some pop. He gets a fastball on the outer third of the plate and hooks it past Kinsler into right. Joyce has had some dramatic hits for this ball club this year, including a pair of grand slams. They're hoping that left-handed bat will add a little thump to this lineup. They are dearly and desperately in need in some run production.
This is the 3rd time in the game that the Rays have had a runner on with 2 down in the inning. As Dan Johnson takes ball 1 away. He struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. 1 of 4 strikeouts for Kobe Lewis. Lewis had 196 strikeouts during the season, ranked 7th in the American League in Ks. Predominantly throughout the year, the 4th inning was the tough inning for Kobe Lewis. They have 18 earned runs in the 4th inning, 6 home runs allowed in the 4th. Generally that 2nd time through. And it's down and in. Molina sprawls to the backhand to grab that.
196 strikeouts, 7th most in Ranger history. And he has not faced the Rays since 2003, and he's a totally different pitcher now. That strikeout total was the most since Nolan Ryan. Struck out over 200 in 92.
Check on first, and Joyce back to the bag at first.
And Colby Lewis is a much different pitcher now than he was the last time he faced his Rays team.
Outside for ball to Johnson. When you look at his record, not impressive, 12-13. Did have 12 wins, but had a losing record during the year. But then look at his ERA, 3.72 ERA. And the second lowest earned run average for any American League pitcher with at least 20 starts and a losing record. Carlos Pena waits on deck. 2 down here in the 4th inning. As Dan Johnson takes the strike over the outside corner.
Now, it's been a rarity that a Rays hitter has had to count in his favor, but that 3-1 pitch was right on the block outside away from Johnson.
Runner will be off with 2 down here. Full count to Dan Johnson. He'll take the walk. And the second walk allowed by Lewis. So down to first goes Johnson, and it's first and second. 2 down for the Rays here in the 4th inning.
A 3-1 count, then he goes to 3-2, and you can see he tries to run that fastball on the outside corner, but missed. Now, this is the value of having Carlos Pena down at the bottom of the order. You got a couple of guys on. I mean, he's an all-or-nothing guy all year long. 28 home runs, and now you just hope if you're Tampa Bay that he can run into one here.
Pena walked in the second inning. He bats here with 2 on, 2 outs in the 4th. The first time the Rays have had 2 on in the game. Down and in, and again Molina to the backhand to grab that.
Lewis staying with that slow breaking ball, falls behind Pena. Carlos Pena has had to deal with the dramatic shift all year long. And you can see now with 2 base runners on, Andrews kind of has to play a little more straight away, and Young is well over by the bag at third, so there's a few more holes for Pena than he's used to seeing.
We talked to Joe Madden about that the other day. He was talking about, no doubt, that from a psychological standpoint, it does weigh on Pena. You do see the shift, and it's starting to go bad. And this year, of course, the batting average under 200 at 196. And he's talking a lot about a lot of ground outs this year as a change for Pena as well.
Well, when you look up as a batter and you see that dramatic shift and everybody's on the right side of the diamond where you hit most of the balls, it becomes a real mental thing. You look up and say, there's no place for me to hit the ball. And that probably led to some of his problems with the batting average, having a slip under 200.
And this could be his last year in the Tampa Bay Rays uniform as well. He'd be a free agent at the end of the year. 2 on, 2 down, and Pena ahead of the count, 1-0. That just missed. Molina framed it there for a long time for Mills to look at it, but it's ball 2.
You can see now that the shadows have crept back all the way to the mound, and it's not as challenging, and hitters are starting to see the ball a little better. Lewis thought that pitch was a strike, and the pitch tracks indicated it may have been. It was certainly high enough as you saw the pitch from the side cross at the knees.
That's ball 3. And again, Molina thought they had a strike in there somewhere. It's now 3-0.
For the first time in this series, Tampa Bay has been able to work the count a little bit.
DJ Upton waits on deck. There are 2 outs here in the 4th inning. In the regular season, Pena, a 197 hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Hard to give a 200 hitter the green light, but I think he gets it here.
Held up. He was going to swing. But takes the strike, and it's 3-1.
The reason you give it to Pena, he's an all-or-nothing guy. So if he can get one pitch and hit it out of the ballpark, don't worry about him striking out again. He's had a tough season with the average, so you want to give him a pitch that he can turn it loose on.
So Boyce at second, Johnson at first, 2 down here in the 4th inning. Lewis has really slowed it down here with men on. 20th pitch of the inning, the hardest Lewis has had to work. As he works here in the 4th with 2 on and 2 outs. Pena hits a high fly ball to right field. Back goes Cruz towards the corner, onto the track, has room and makes the catch. Pena gives it a ride, but the Rays strand a pair. 3.5 done, 1-0 Texas. With runners in scoring position, we just saw Kobe Lewis get out of that situation, and at 187 tied with David Price in that category, and they're only behind Clay Buchholz for the Red Sox. Just did it again. The Rays, incidentally, are now 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position in the series. Vlad Guerrero leads it off, trickles one down the third baseline. Longoria was deep. All he can do is let it roll, and it's fair. It's off the bag, fair, and on is Guerrero. Moments ago, we had the chance to chat with Rays skipper Joe Madden, and I asked him about Matt Garza.
Throwing the ball really well, I think. Fastball looks located and down. Good velocity on it. Threw some really nice breaking pitches, too. He looks kind of normal to me right now.
Joe, for the first time in this series, your hitters have been able to work the count a little bit. It looks as though they're starting to get some pitches that they can really take a rip at.
That'd be nice. The way he's played to this point has been kind of difficult. We do work good at bats normally right there. I mean, I thought that ball off the bat was a little bit too high, but nevertheless, another good at bat there by Carlos.
Okay, Joe, thanks very much.
My pleasure, guys. See you.
Nelson Cruz batting and sending one foul off to the right. Cruz grounded out to third base in the 2nd inning. And you look at Vlad Guerrero on that ground ball down the third base line. Don't be fooled. He moves around slowly most of the time, but he can still run pretty well.
Well, he sure can. And going up the line, Longoria knows he's not going to throw him out. So the only hope he has is that this ball goes into foul territory. But it hit the bag, and Guerrero has the leadoff infield hit.
Garza during the regular season, a 15-game winner. 15-10, 3.91 earned run average. Trailing 1-0 in this game as he works in the fourth with a runner on. Pitch low and away to Cruz.
This is a much better ball club hitting here at home. The Rangers hit .288 as a team at home compared to .265 on the road. And one of the guys that really enjoys hitting here is Nelson Cruz. He's at 104 points higher in this ballpark than he hit away from.
On the ground towards short. Bartlett will try to start it for 2. On his second for 1 to first, they do get 2. Garza able to induce the ground ball double play. And there's 2 away here in the fourth inning.
Again, Garza is making a lot of quality pitches here this afternoon. Both of these balls during this inning have been on the ground, and this time Bartlett's able to get it to Zobrist quickly. Cruz runs well, and Garza gets a big double play to erase that leadoff single.
We were talking to Ron Washington before the game, Buck, and a lot of years we saw the Texas Rangers in second halves of seasons just go away after good first halves. And he often wondered about the heat here in Texas, and we asked him about it. He really said it's a mindset, and he tells his guys mind over matter. And he was quite honest that he keeps them out and off the field quite a bit during the season. Not so much batting practice and making some changes because of the heat.
Yeah, he said if we have a 7-game homestand, we will hit maybe on the first day, and then if it's a day game they don't hit, I want them to stay inside as much as possible. But you've been down here in the middle of the summer. It'll be 110 degrees during evening games, and it's really challenging. And Clint Hurdle, a hitting coach, will have his hitters hit inside and just not take them out onto the field all that often.
Perfect conditions here today, 86 degrees to start the ball game as Kinsler takes the 2-0 up top for ball 3, 3-0. There's a walk, Kinsler in the second, and he's fallen behind him 3-0. Most picturesque ballparks in the majors here in Texas. Kinsler will take all the way and take strike 1, 3-1.
This is quite a sports weekend here in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. Right next door to Cowboy Stadium, Arkansas is playing Texas A&M. SMU's playing tonight. TCU's playing a lot of football, and of course a great baseball weekend here.
Kinsler hits into the air to left center field. Over from center is B.J. Upton, who makes the catch that ends the inning. We're through 4 in game 3. The Texas Rangers lead it 1-0. In the American League Division Series, Texas on top 1-0 as B.J. Upton makes a hack at the first pitch, served up by Colby Lewis. Upton grounding into a fielder's choice in the second inning. 2 hits so far for Tampa Bay. A single for Carl Crawford, a single for Matt Joyce. As this pitch is away from Lewis.
Again, Colby Lewis picking up the tempo. He really slowed things down when he had base runners on, but he has picked up that tempo very quickly here, starting the 5th.
Well, at the end of the bat, it trickles down to first base, and Moreland with an easy play to tag the bag at first. Moments ago, we spoke with the Texas Rangers manager Ron Washington, and after 2 great starts from his starters in Game 1 and Game 2, his thoughts on this starter, Colby Lewis, today.
Yeah, he is. He's been mixing all his pitches pretty well. And that's what you have to do against these guys. If you stay in one set pattern, they can certainly get you.
Ron Washington, your hitters have stayed to the middle of the field. That seems to be a pretty effective approach against Tampa Bay.
Well, it is, especially with the problem right now with the shadows. It's pretty tough to see out there, and the only way you're going to have any chance is to stay in the middle of the field. So we've done that. Moreland got us to double, and they tried to throw a breaking ball while we was trying to treat the game correctly with the bunt, and it got away, and we caught a break with moving Mitch over to third base, and then Elvis got the ground ball.
Okay, Ron, thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
There's line drive out the center off the bat of Jason Bartlett, tracked by Josh Hamilton. There was some consideration as to whether we would see Hamilton in center field here in Texas and whether they'd make that change. They stick with him out here in center field and give David Murphy a chance to start in left.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with Murphy's health, because they could get him in the lineup and Hamilton could stay in center. Had Murphy not been able to play here this afternoon, it would have been Bourbon in center and Hamilton in left.
John Jaso takes a look at ball 1.
I heard Ron Washington say they were trying to treat the game right. That's one of his favorite phrases. Always says if you treat the game right, it'll treat you right. Taking advantage of the leadoff double, putting the bunt on, trying to advance the game, and he truly believes if you play good, sound, fundamental baseball, you will be rewarded.
In there for a strike to Jaso, who has 2 at-bats in this game coming up for this one. He flied out to left in the first and struck out looking in the third. 4 strikeouts for Colby Lewis. Flared foul, and it's 2-2.
I can't tell you how difficult it is as a hitter to continually have the pitcher throwing strike after strike after strike. It seems as though you're always rushed in the batter's box. It's almost as if you want to say, hey, wait a minute, let me get comfortable here. The Rangers pitchers haven't allowed the Rays to get comfortable.
Well, tried to bring it back to the corner. No avail, and it's ball 1. Or rather, full count now, 3-2. To the corner, he tried. 3-2 is rolling inside, ball 4. And Jaso is down to first base. There is a third free pass given up by Colby Lewis. And again, the Rays have a base runner with 2 down. 4th time in this game that has happened. And the pitch count up to 70 pitches right now for Colby Lewis. And Zobrist is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to first base and struck out looking. Zobrist has provided the Rays their only run of the series as he homered in Game 1. And Zobrist had 10 home runs during the regular season.
Lewis hasn't been as efficient throwing strikes, throwing out of the stretch as he has out of the windup. Much more deliberate, almost as if he's guiding the ball, trying to make a perfect pitch when he has base runners on.
Mike Maddox, the fine pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, has enjoyed very good starting pitching in this series. It's been dominant. Zobrist takes the 2-0 for ball 3, and it's 3-0. been a few on that corner that both Kobe Lewis and Benji Molina wanted that Jerry Meals has not been giving them. Zobrist will take the strike that time. Thought he perhaps had ball 4, but it's 3-1 now. Zobrist this year having his home run total drop 17 at 27 last year, only 10 this year. And check on first, back to the bag is Jaso.
And Jaso will run, and it might not be a bad time to start him at 3-1 with 2 outs just to create some movement on the infield. Maybe that will open up a hole for Zobrist.
Rays, who led the league in stolen bases, have not had a lot of chances in this series. He's not running, and there's ball 4. Back-to-back walks allowed by Kobe Lewis. And this will bring a visit from Mike Maddox. 4 walks in all allowed by Lewis.
Well, Maddox really does a great job of setting up a game plan for his starting pitchers. He will arrive at the ballpark about noon, go over the video, go over the scouting reports, and put together a game plan. Then he turns things over to the pitcher and the catcher. And he asks them and expects them to make adjustments during the course of the game. When he doesn't see that happening, he'll go to the mound and say, let's pick it up, boys. You're best when you're pitching ahead, throw strike 1, and then we got a chance.
Second straight inning, Tampa Bay has had runners at first and second with 2 down. Last time, Pena hit one to the corner. It was retired. Now a chance for Carl Crawford, time called. Benjamin setting up the defense.
2 outs in case they start the runners. Want to make sure that they have the right base covered. Oftentimes they'll go for that trail runner. I doubt if they're going to run here.
Inside ball 1. The Rays led the majors in steals for the 3rd consecutive season. Crawford 1 for 2 in the game, single back in the first inning. Crawford will foul it off. And it's 1-1 to Carl Crawford. Action in the pen for the first time. Holland, the left-hander throwing for the Rangers.
The Rays are in desperate need of a big hit. Crawford has delivered a lot of big hits in his career with Tampa Bay.
Swing and a miss. Briefly gets away from Molina. No advance for the base runners. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Carl Crawford as the Rangers faithful will again stand as one.
Crawford got a pretty good fastball to hit right there. Up and out over the plate.
Crawford strikes out. The big strikeout for Kobe Lewis. Halfway through, 1-0 Texas. Mitch Moreland doubling in the third, and then this big pass ball. It kicks off John Jaso, gets Moreland to third. Otis Andrews grounding out, but producing the game's only run. As the Rangers take a 1-0 lead to their half of the fifth inning. And it's David Murphy, Benji Molina, and Mitch Moreland here in the fifth. He's at 56 pitches as he works to Murphy, who has base hit back in the second inning and takes a strike.
Well, Garza's throwing the ball well. He missed with the first curveball, came right back and dropped the second one in there for a strike.
On the outside corner, gets credit for. That's not a pitch that Jared Mills has been giving very much. He does that time. So look at the line for Kobe Lewis, who's through 5 innings, and the fifth strikeout, a big one for him to get out of another jam. He's up to 79 pitches. On the ground, it's Zobrist at second. Murphy is out number 1 of the fifth inning.
Well, we talk so much about Lewis and the fact he doesn't have a sparkling record, but one thing he does, he pitches very well for Ron Washington with runners on. He had a 2.01 opponent's batting average with runners on this year. That led the American League. So he's able to pitch out of jams, something he couldn't do earlier in his career. He would try to muscle his way out of those situations, and now he is pitching his way out.
The Rays have left 6 men on base. The runners at first and second in the fourth, and again in the fifth. Couldn't do anything with them. As Benji Molina bats and takes strike one. Molina grounded out to third base in the second inning. On the ground by the mound, Zobrist is there. And a throw on to first base for out number 2. So 2 ground ball outs to the same spot here, and there's 2 down in the fifth inning for Matt Garza.
The only thing the only thing Matt Garza could do more in this effort today is hit. He's done everything from the mound that you could ask. He's held the Rangers just a single run on 3 hits, and he's done a great job of using his secondary pitches.
2 down for Mitch Moreland, who doubled in the third. Pass ball got him to third. The ground out by Andrews. And he scored the only run of this game. Moreland takes ball 1. Ball still up in the pen for the Rangers. Foul back to the screen. 94 that time from Garza.
Ron Washington might be quick to go to the left-hander given the success Lee and Wilson have had against this Rays lineup. Jackie Moore, the bench coach, chatting with Washington.
In the dirt. And it's 2-1 now to Mitch Moreland. Had 2 hits in his major league debut. That came back on July 29th against the Oakland A's. And a single in his first major league at bat. Swings at the 2-1 and grounds it down the line at first. It's a fair ball. Garza will cover for the out. It wraps up the fifth inning. We are through 5 from the Rangers ballpark in Arlington. 1-0 Texas. this is what they have done offensively in the American League Division Series. And it has not been pretty offensively for the Rays. They have not had a big hit.
No, they haven't. Even 1 for 15 with runners in scoring, because that one hit didn't even produce a run. Evan Longoria had a base hit, but they had to stop the runner at third.
It's the only run they have produced, the home run by Ben Zobrist in the first game of the series. As Evan Longoria, Matt Joyce, and Dan Johnson a bat in the inning. I get the feeling Lewis will not see the end of this inning. They have Holland ready to go in the pen. Joyce, Johnson, and Pena coming up after Longoria with a swing and a miss.
We knew this would be a difficult start for the hitters given the start time. There have only been 5 hits in the game.
Longoria struck out in the first inning, grounded out to shortstop in the fourth. As you can see, not a factor anymore. On the right field line and foul. Full count to Longoria. 5 strikeouts for Kobe Lewis through the first 5 innings, but he has walked 4. Full count to the leadoff batter here in the top half of the 6th inning. Ball 4, and he walks the leadoff hitter. And there is the 5th walk given up by Lewis. And here comes Ron Washington. So it was indeed just the first batter of this inning that Lewis was going to face. And as he walks Longoria, they have Holland ready to go.
I think that Lewis was going to get one batter in this inning, no matter if he got Longoria out or not. But what a job by Kobe Lewis to set the tone again for this Rangers ball club.
Rangers faithful let him know what they think of him as he heads off 1-0 Texas. So far, no runs. He's responsible for Longoria at first base. 5 walks, 5 Ks for Lewis, and it's a walk that gets Longoria on to begin the 6th inning.
Well, Kobe Lewis certainly did his job to turn this game over to the bullpen with a lead, 1-0. And he was able to pitch well with runners in scoring position again today. That's been the way he's pitched all year long for this Ranger ball club. And now they'll go to the left hand. And we mentioned that Derek Holland has been a starter this season, and he has made 4 relief appearances this year, pitching a total of 10 2/3, but he's made 10 starts. He's got a power arm. He's been hampered a little bit by his first pitch efficiency. Only 56% of the time has he thrown a first pitch strike, but Tampa Bay is at 125 against left-handed pitching in this series.
And he is very tough on left-handers. Lefties hitting at just 130 against him this season. and he did not allow a home run to a left-handed hitter. Matt Joyce is this left-handed hitter with a runner at first and nobody out in the 6th inning. Check on Longoria at first, who's back to the bag. Joyce has one of 2 Tampa Bay hits. After grounding out in the 2nd inning, he singled to right in the 4th, 1 for 2.
Again, just like all year long, Holland misses with that first pitch. So Joyce has a little bit of a advantage. He's seen a pitch now, got a pretty good idea. Okay, that's the fastball. Johnson on deck. He got some left-handers in a row. That's why Holland's here.
This one rolled over a foul. Holland much better at home this season. Earned run average at home at 2.32. Nearly 4 runs lower than his ERA on the road, which was 6.15. So Lakes pitching here at Rangers ballpark.
I think younger pitchers in general pitch better at home just because they're more familiar with their surroundings.
In the dirt, and Molina able to knock it down, keeps it in front of him. No advance at first for Longoria.
Allen overthrew this ball, throws it right into the dirt. Molina did a good job to get his glove on it. Wasn't trying to catch it, just kind of smothered it and kept it in front of him.
Hits it on the ground right side. Kinsler spins to second for 1. Back to first. Safe at first base is Joyce. The high throw pulled him from the bag. Longoria is retired at second, but Joyce safe at first.
Andrews' throw was high, and Moreland stretched high for it. Bill Miller indicated he felt that Moreland came off the bag when he reached for it. Kinsler did a good job of quickly getting the ball to the shortstop Andrews. And Joyce legged it out. Washington out to discuss it with the umpire, but Kinsler gives Andrews a good throw. And the hard slide by Longoria.
That's tough to tell.
Really tough to tell whether that toe maintained contact with first.
Joyce at first with 1 out. And Johnson, the batter, he has struck out and walked. And a check on Joyce at first, who's back to the bag. Another look here from this angle.
Really difficult to tell whether or not that toe stayed in contact with the bag.
In there for a strike to Johnson.
I think those replays once again tells you why it's not an automatic to go to instant replay on these plays. We've looked at it 3 or 4 different ways and can't really see definitively whether or not he lost contact.
It's on the corner, and Johnson finds himself in a hole 0-2.
Johnson only had 17 at-bats against left-handed pitching after he joined the Rays.
At first base, 1-2 to Dan Johnson. He's been operating at 95 miles per hour since coming into this game.
Now, he's an interesting player for the Rangers. He was a 25th round draft pick, a draft and follow guy that didn't really blossom until he got to junior college.
In the dirt, Molina corrals it, no advance. At first base for Joyce, and Johnson, who's down to the count 0-2, has now worked it full, 3-2. And a few of these for Benji Molina.
Got on top of that slider and buried it into the dirt, but Molina, always with great technique, certainly was left to block it.
Carlos Pena waiting on deck. 1 out, 1 on here in the 6th. He's trying to break through with a run here. As Johnson hooks it into right field, a base hit. Matt Joyce trying to go to third base. The throw from right field. Now trying to get him at second, and they do. He rounded it and tried to return to the bag and throw the brakes on, but the throw goes behind him from Cruz, and Joyce is out at second base.
We told you the Rangers have the best throwing outfield in the American League early in this series. And there's another reason of fundamentals and execution and how it'll hurt you. Watch Joyce right here. He's going to make a big turn. He's not necessarily thinking about going to third, but look at Kinsler hanging out right near the bag. Cruz hits the cutoff man, and Kinsler puts the tag on him. Cruz can really throw from the outfield, and this is a great throw right to Kinsler, who was heads up to dive back on the bag and make the tag of Joyce. Jeff Kellogg coming in following the play as Kinsler acknowledges the effort by Cruz and Wright.
So 2 down, Dan Johnson. He's at first base. Carlos Pena has walked and flied out to the warning track in right field. Reaction with Dan Johnson as he watched that go down at second base.
The Rays haven't had many base runners, and they can ill afford to have them erased.
Joyce was erased, and there's 2 down here in the 6th inning. Johnson at first and a 1-0. And he takes ball 2, 2-0. Third batter that Derek Holland has dealt with since coming into this game. As he works here in the top half of the 6th inning with Texas on top 1-0. It's up high. And it's 3-0.
As base runners, you're always taught to go full speed around the bag just in case there's a bobble in right. Maybe you can move up. But going around the bag, I don't think he had any intent of going to third, aware of Cruz's arm. But the Rangers executed perfectly on defense.
Pena will take the walk again. It is the second time he has walked in a game. And it's first and second again for the Rays. It's the 3rd straight inning they've had that. As Ron Washington makes his way to the mound again. It's the 6th walk allowed by Rangers pitching in the game.
Washington's got a powerful bullpen and the ability to strike out hitters as he takes the ball from Holland and Alexi Ogando, the big right-hander, with the big fastball.
Going right for the Rays at the moment. And this blunder is all part of it. 1-0 Texas.
Uganda's got a big arm. 39 strikeouts during the regular season in 41 2/3. And he's an interesting story. He didn't pitch above the Dominican Summer League before this season. He's a power arm. He has an electric fastball, a great slider, and a very good changeup.
Converted outfielder, started pitching in 2006. 1.30 ERA, was the lowest by any reliever in the American League this season with at least 40 innings pitched. Rays have had their chances. 21 men left on base in the series so far, 6 today. And as B.J. Upton stands in, Tampa Bay with runners at first and second and 2 down. Upton takes strike 1.
This is what you need in the postseason, is a strikeout arm out of the bullpen. Rays have a threat going with a couple on and 2 outs. And he gets ahead. Uganda throws a good inside fastball to jump ahead of Upton.
It's up high. Uganda allowed 12 of 32 inherited runners to score, but just 2 of the last 9 to wrap up the regular season. He comes in here with runners at first and second and 2 down. But up again.
Fastball right at the top of the strike zone, and pitch tracks indicates it might have caught the upper limits. Just a representation of the strike zone.
B.J. Upton lines it into left field for a base hit. Coming around from second base is Johnson to tie this game. Pena will stop at third, and finally the Rays get a big hit. B.J. Upton with an RBI double. Finally cashing in an opportunity, and they tie the game.
Again, the ability of a Rays hitter to have the count in his favor. And even though the fastball's 97, Upton can get to it. He turns and rips it down the left field line. Because he had the count in his favor, he was able to look for a good fastball and jumped on it. He is now 2 for 2 against Uganda, and Matt Joyce feels a lot better about his base running right now as the Rays have tied it up.
Carlos Pena is fired up, as was B.J. Upton at second base. He comes through with a big double. And it's a 1-1 game, second and third. And Jason Bartlett coming up. Bartlett is fly to right, flied out to center, 0 for 2. And that's strike 1. We saw Matt Garza, but he's done all he could do today. And finally, his offense has produced something. Just the second run of the series for Tampa Bay. This has given up only 3 hits through the first 5 innings. Another close pitch, but called the ball. 98 from Uganda.
Finally, the Rays have been able to work the count a little bit and get the count in their favor, because both Holland and Uganda have fallen behind the hitters. It really paid off for B.J. Upton. Kobe Lewis started the inning, but walked Longoria.
Bartlett will lift it to right, but Cruz is there, and he makes the catch that ends the inning. But the Rays break through with a run to tie this game 1-1 after 5.5. The sun is shining brightly. The Rays have tied this game 1-1. It's ball one up top to Elvis Andrus, who bats here to lead it off for the Rangers. A bit of a wait for Matt Garza. Some pitching changes as part of the 6th inning. Andrus, Young, and Hamilton to bat here in the 6th inning for Texas. Back off Garza, kicks out towards second. Zobrist with the throw that's not in time. He slowed it up enough, and Andrus with good speed gets to first to start this bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, the Rangers have done a great job of staying in the middle of the field. This is the second time Andrus has hit a ball right back up the middle. Garza gets a piece of it. I don't know that Bartlett would have had a chance even if he hadn't have tipped the ball. Andrus runs so well. You see Bartlett coming across from shortstop, but Zobrist cuts in front of him, and Andrus' speed allows him to beat it out. Right back over the mound, Garza tipped it, and Andrus beats it out at first.
Lead runner on here for the Rangers as Michael Young takes ball one in the dirt. Jaso sliding across to grab it. This is the 3rd time the Texas Rangers have had the lead runner on in this game. The lead runner scored in the 3rd inning in Mitch Moreland and was erased in the 4th inning on a double play.
So many things the Rangers can do in this situation. They can let Andrus steal. They can play hit and run with Michael Young, who is terrific handling the bat.
Andrus safely at first base.
Andrus created havoc as a base runner in game 2, and he forced James Shields into a throwing error that allowed Matt Traynor to score from first. That was the first run of game 2. The threat of a steal was a distraction.
He was caught trying to steal in game 1, had that stolen base in game 2. And a good sized lead at first base as time is called. 3% for Jaso. Another check, and a little close for that time, but he dives back safely.
Andrus almost took a fatal step. Watch how he moves towards second. Just a little bit of momentum going towards second, but he didn't raise his feet, so he was able to push back and dive into first.
Stepping off again.
This is the new Rangers offense. It's not all about banging the ball out of the ballpark. They'll put pressure on the catcher, they'll put pressure on the infielders, and they'll certainly put pressure on the pitcher.
Inside. And it's 2-0. All the concern of Andrus at first base. Garza is falling behind. Michael Young 2-0. Getting easier. Josh Hamilton waits on deck. Rangers trying to answer after the Rays scored a run in the top half of this inning. Young with a swing and a miss.
Garza did a good job of throwing an off-speed pitch, breaking ball in a fastball count. That's been a real problem for Tampa Bay. They've gotten the fastball counts and had to throw fastballs to fastball hitters. Here Garza is able to get Young to chase the slider. Jaso wants to give Garza another series of signs. This is a good time to run because Garza is more than likely to throw a breaking ball. A tougher pitch for Jaso to handle and slower getting to the plate.
Andrews not going, and a swing and a miss. Michael Young, and the count evens up at 2-2.
Throw him another breaking ball to even the count. Again, the pitching coach, Jim Hickey, said we got into problems in the first 2 games throwing fastball to fastball hitters in fastball counts. Garza didn't do that to Young. Pitch count's really in good shape for Matt Garza.
Those 2 workers in that second inning. When the Rangers left 2 men on to get Molina to ground out. Andrews not going as Young strikes out, and Garza with a big K. So his 3rd strikeout, he gets Young for the first out of the 6th inning.
Boy, what a battle Garza put up after falling behind 2-0. He just wouldn't give in to Michael Young and throw him a fastball. He gets him to chase. This is a strike to ball breaking ball. Starts out in the strike zone and breaks down and away.
So 1 out. Andrews still at first base, and Josh Hamilton the batter. Hamilton 0 for 2. Flied out to left in the first inning. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. And takes ball 1.
Hamilton's going to have to hit a breaking ball. They just won't give him a fastball strike. And why should they? They've been able to hold him in check.
All 2-2-0. Yeah, because one guy in his lineup we're not going to let beat you. It's Josh Hamilton.
He's hit 22 of his 32 home runs in this ballpark. Rangers, of course, believe he's the MVP of the league. When he started on the hot streak June 1st, the Rangers were tied. At the end of August, they were 8 games ahead. He hit over 400 during that span.
Went 401 against right-handers this season. Best in the American League, 24. There's 32 home runs coming out of the right-handed pitcher. Ahead 2-0. Fouled off to the left and out of play.
They got a fastball, but it was in a great spot. Garza kept it down and away. Target down and away. Garza hits his spot perfectly. That's about all Hamilton can do with that fastball.
Ranks for Hamilton as he throw to first, and again close, but Andrews back to the bag.
All of those numbers came in 133 games.
I was going to say, despite missing the last month of the season, Hamilton with a swing and a miss. And the count evens at 2-2.
Right back to the curveball. Been pounded into Matt Garza that you've got to get Hamilton with off-speed stuff. The slower, the better. And there's another very good curveball.
Hamilton was hitting at 281 at the end of May. 454, then 418, and then in August at 356. Runner goes, swing and a miss for strike 3. The throw is not in time. The Rays and Garza are going to argue that he came off the bag and overslid, and then was tagged on the back end, but Jeff Kellogg is disagreeing, and they're trying to get Garza out of there.
And Andrews' momentum may have indeed taken him off the bag. That's what Garza was watching. Joe Madden coming out after he saw his pitcher race to second. Jeff Kellogg, the umpire, explaining the situation to Madden. But when you make a tag, the infielder stays with the base runner until his momentum is finished. There's the strikeout on the breaking ball. Jason makes a strong throw, but it's late. But watch Bartlett stay with the base runner. And it looked like he was totally off the base when Bartlett had his glove on the right leg. Watch the right leg of Andrews. Right there. No contact whatsoever. Bartlett did a good job of blocking him off the plate, and he stayed with the base runner. That's why Garza reacted like this. He saw the separation between the base and the base runner.
So it appears to be a missed call by Jeff Kellogg at second base.
Bartlett did a great job of positioning himself to block Andrews off second. There's the position. He's got his left knee down in the base path. That kind of rode Andrews off the base, and he kept the glove on his leg.
Conference at the mound as John Jaso heads out. The infielders will join the conversation.
Everybody converging on the mound to remind Matt Garza, let's just make a pitch. Don't worry about the call at second. You're doing a great job, and you got a tough hitter at the plate.
Game tied at the moment. Elvis Andrus in scoring position with 2 outs, and Vladimir Guerrero, who led the majors in 2-out RBIs, and here he is with Andrus at second base and 2 outs in the 6th inning. And Guerrero takes ball 1.
In the outfield, B.J. Upton has the strongest arm in center. Crawford will charge the ball very well in left, and Joyce has just an average arm.
Ball 2 as they stay away in the first 2 pitches, 2-0.
Joe Madden, the Rays manager, knows Vladdy Guerrero very well. They were with the Angels together. And he said Vladdy is a dangerous hitter because there's nowhere that's safe. He says he hits the baseball like a piñata. He just swipes at it and can hit it anywhere.
Away again. We're not going near Vladimir here. It's 3-0. And moving further away. I showed you his numbers this year. The runners in scoring position. Career 301 hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Ahead in the count, 3-0.
This shows you how much confidence they have in Matt Garza. Bullpen is quiet.
Ball 4. Guerrero down to first. So they work around him, and that is the second walk allowed by Garza. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, will make the trip to the hill.
I don't think this is anything other than just a little break in the action, just a chance to give Garza a little break. I don't think Garza's been rattled at all by the call at second. I think he put that behind him. He was just trying to get Guerrero to chase something outside. Andrews with the steals in scoring position. Guerrero took the walk. Hickey comes out to help Garza get his thoughts together before he has to deal with Nelson Cruz.
Cruz 0 for 2 in the game, and he's grounded out 5-3, and last time up bounced him to a 6-4-3 twin killing. The bats here with 2 down, runners at first and second.
Great numbers with runners in scoring position, hitting .336, and a hitter that hits 104 points higher in this ballpark than he does away.
Game tied at the moment, 1-1. Cruz takes ball 1 in the dirt, and it's away again.
Hickey now gets the bullpen going.
Grant Balfour is first up, and Randy Schultz, the left-hander, joins him as well. Shortstop by Jason Bartlett, fully extended to make the grab. It ends the 6th inning. The Rangers stranding 2, tied 1-1 at the end of 6 from Texas. Shortstop with a diving catch.
It's always a strength of Tampa Bay, has been their defense. And to this point in the series, first 2 games, they kind of threw it around a bit. But Bartlett picks up Matt Garza with a great diving grab of a line drive by Cruz.
It is the top of the Rays order. They're in the 7th inning, facing a new pitcher in Darren Oliver, who becomes the 4th arm used by Ron Washington in the game. And Oliver has appeared in all the games so far in this American League Division Series. 3 innings pitched, giving up no hits. Of course, he went 2 1/3 in game 2. As he gets the corner for a strike to John Jaso.
In game 2, he allowed a walk and struck out 2. Regular season, he appeared in 64 games. Doesn't get himself into trouble. Just 15 walks.
Last 3 postseasons, beginning in 2008, Oliver has given up 3 earned runs in 13 innings pitched. An opponent batting average of 163. It's outside. And a full count to leadoff batter for the Rays here in the 7th, and John Jaso. And Zobrist waiting on deck. Rays tying the game with one of their own in the 6th inning. Jaso, the swing and a miss, strikes out to start the 7th inning. And today's bullpen spotlight is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And Darren Oliver, who celebrated his 40th birthday on Wednesday, 3 shutout innings in the first 2 games of this ALDS. It's the 5th straight postseason he's been a part of. In his debut back in '93, and his dad, Bob Oliver, former teammate of yours. High drive down the left field line that is sent foul.
Bob Oliver and I were teammates in Kansas City in 1969, my first year in the big leagues. And we're both from the same hometown, Sacramento, California. Bob helped me immensely adjusting. I was 20 years old and a rookie, and you can believe I needed a lot of help. But Darren's father, Bob, was very helpful to me in my rookie year.
And Zobrist trying to straighten it out, lifts a fly ball out towards deep left center field. That ball is back, and it'll get back to the track of the wall, and Zobrist to pull it up at second base. A 1-out double, and the Rays collect their 5th hit of the day. Zobrist, who provided a home run in game 1 of the series, sends this one to the gap in left center.
Zobrist gets this ball on the inner half of the plate. It's down, but he drives it to the gap in left field. This is a big ballpark. We talked about extra base hits being so important in this ballpark, and Zobrist has been the only Ray that's been able to drive the ball. Second double of the series for Zobrist.
At second base with 1 out for Carl Crawford. Crawford has 1 of the 5 Rays hits. He singled back in the 1st inning. And out after that first pitch, fouls it off. He singled in the 1st, fouled out in the 4th, and then struck out swinging in the 5th.
Crawford has faced Oliver twice in this series. He's 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out.
On the outside corner, Crawford disagrees. Finds himself down 0-2.
Carl Crawford has to think that's the only count in baseball, 0-2, and that ball looked like it was off the plate.
I understand why he was disappointed by the call from Jerry Mills. Out there again, and it's called strike 3. Crawford didn't like strike 2, and he really doesn't like strike 3. 2 down in the 7th.
Oliver, the veteran pitcher that he is, and you know what? Why not go back to the same spot? If he gave me that one before, I'll probably get another one. And boy, that looked off the plate as well. Crawford doing his best to have a good look at it, and really felt like he couldn't reach it, and is surprised to hear strike 3.
So 2 down in the inning, and Evan Longoria. He is 1 for 10 in the series as the catcher Molina hops up and heads out to talk to Oliver.
Again, this is the value of having a veteran like Molina. And a veteran pitcher like Oliver, they'll go out and discuss things before they make a mistake. They want to make sure they're both on the same page. Quick little visit. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Oliver says that's good for me.
Darren O'Day is up in the pen. Sidewinding right-hander. Crawford still can't believe strike 2 or strike 3. He's out number 2 of the 7th inning. As Longoria get the feet out of the way and a pitch down and in.
Both of the pitches to Crawford look to be off the plate.
Oliver with 2 strikeouts in the inning. Rangers pitching with 7 in the contest. As Longoria takes ball 2, 2-0.
Zobrist is getting a terrific secondary lead off the bag at second.
Well, Ibar has come out on deck here. He would bat for Matt Joyce. Added to the roster, and they took Rocco Baldelli off for game 2. As Longoria grounds one back up the middle, Kinsler moves over, and a sidearm throw to first is in time. The Rays leave Zobrist in scoring position at second. It's 7th inning stretch. Game tied at 1. are no longer a factor, and no doubt Buck Martinez that early on in this game, as Cal Ripken just mentioned, shadows were a very big factor.
Well, they sure were. It's very difficult for hitters to identify breaking balls and really pick up the ball in general. And we saw John Jaso have problems with that too when he was catching. He had the pass ball that led to the Rangers' run, but you can see as the course of the day went on, the shadows traveled all the way across the mound and created a strobing effect for the baseball. Cal also made a great point about Texas going to their bullpen early. Joaquin Benoit, Randy Choate are up and throwing already. Benoit or Soriano, neither one of them has pitched in this series yet, and you can bet Joaquin Benoit is going to pitch in this game today.
And B.J. Upton and the Rays finally get a big hit. And they tie this game in the 6th inning. Garza ready to work in the 7th inning in a 1-1 game. 18 times he made it into the 7th inning, allowed just 4 earned runs. Look at the line for him through the first 6 today.
This is exactly what the Rays needed from Matt Garza, and he's done a great job of holding the Rangers in check.
And Kinsler leads it off. Now takes a pitch high. Kinsler walked in the 2nd, flied out to center in the 4th.
Jim Hickey looking at the matchup sheet as he has a couple of relievers throwing down in the bullpen.
Ball 2-0. Garza has walked only 2. Kinsler's one of them in the 2nd inning. Here's the action. Benoit and Choate.
Benoit, a former Ranger, has really been a great addition to this Rays bullpen.
The first 14 years of his professional career spent in a Rangers uniform. There's a strike. 2-1 now to Kinsler. Strike, this one called, and it evens a count of 2-2. Rangers batting here in the last half of the 7th inning in a 1-1 game. Kinsler will foul it off and do it again, 2-2.
Matt Garza was the MVP of the ALCS for Tampa Bay back in 2008 against Boston. He won the decisive Game 7, matched up against John Lester. He's given Tampa Bay the same type of effort here this afternoon.
For a young man, some pretty good postseason experience. Kinsler thought about it, but it's a pitch down and away, and it's a full count. Game 7, and the youngest pitcher ever to win American League Championship Series MVP honor, 24, surpassed Mike Boddicker, who done it back in 1983. And look at his numbers in the postseason. Fifth 3-ball count for Garza of his outing. And Kinsler hits it a ton to left. Will it stay fair? It's down the line to left, and that ball is gone. Ian Kinsler has put Texas on top 2-1. Kinsler has homered the day for Garza. The Rangers lead it 2-1. He departs trailing 2-1. as they bat in the 7th.
And no doubter, he got a fastball down and in, and he turned it. No question about it in Kinsler's mind, as he really got hot down the stretch. He had 8 home runs in his final 53 games of the season. And this is his 2nd home run in the postseason to put the Rangers on top. So 5th home run the Rangers have hit in this series.
Only 9 during the regular season. And 90th pitch from Garza, the one he dislikes the most. And the end of his outing. As it is now 2-1 Texas. Nobody out in the 7th. Randy Choate, left-handed specialist, into the game, and Javen Murphy bats. The base is empty, and he drives one to right. Joyce will go back and reel it in right field. A liner to right for the first out of the 7th inning. And it's 1 and out for Choate, who's mad enough to get him as he gets Murphy to line out. Back to the pen go the Rays here in the 7th inning with Texas, thanks to Ian Kinsler, on top 2-1.
Here's a 2-1 lead. Let's take a look at the pitch sequence as he faces Garza. Big breaking ball slips out of Garza's hand. And then the fastball up and away. Had a good look at that fastball on the court. And now it's 2-2. The ball travels away. He fouls it off. Misses badly with that breaking ball. And then trying to come inside. They don't get it in far enough. Jaso and Garza both knew as soon as Kinsler made contact, that ball was out of the ballpark.
So 2-1, Texas on top as the Rays move on to their 3rd pitcher for Joe Madden. Brings in Joaquin Benoit, who's not pitched since the last game of the regular season on October the 3rd. As I mentioned before, 14 professional seasons as a member of the Rangers organization. And with Ben, the longest tenured Ranger. And had a great season for Tampa Bay after starting the year in the minor leagues.
Yeah, and the Rays felt like if Benoit could get healthy, having seen what he was doing with the Rangers, they felt they really had something. And it took him a while. He went back to the minor league, started the season in AAA, got his strength back, and since he's rejoined his team, he's been nearly unhittable. This season, 6.12 base runners per 9 innings. That's the 2nd fewest in history with a minimum of 60 innings. Only Dennis Eckersley has held base runners off the base more effectively than Benoit.
Benji Molina bats, 0 for 2 in the game. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Base is empty. And he takes strike 1. Joaquin Benoit signing late with the Rays in the offseason, February the 17th, as a minor league free agent at the time. 1.34 ERA, the lowest of his career by over a run and a half. Molina reaches out, flares one to left. Crawford dives and makes the catch. Great speed allowing him to get there, and then he lays it out to rob Benji Molina of a base hit, 2 down.
No one plays left field as well as Carl Crawford, and he gets a great jump right off the end of the bat. This sinking away from Crawford, who dives and catches it just before it hits the grass and left. Tremendous acceleration. He took a very good angle on it and made the catch just before he hit the ground.
2 down here in the 7th inning. And Mitch Moreland, the first baseman for the Rangers, who doubled and scored the Rangers' first run back in the 3rd inning. As he takes strike 1 from Benoit. Joaquin Benoit missing the entire 09 season. Surgery, right rotator cuff. Swing and a miss. And he's ahead 0-2. His numbers prior to the All-Star game were off the charts. As Benoit with a 0.65 ERA and held opponents to a 112 batting average. After the break was pretty good too. 1.93 ERA and a 174 opponent batting average. Moreland to right field, where Matt Joyce is positioned perfectly and puts it away. A home run for Ian Kinsler to lead off this inning has given the Texas Rangers a 2-1 lead at the end of 7 in Game 3. Hot corner to watch live video companion coverage of every MLB postseason game. Everything is big in Texas except for this little guy.
But he's having a big time here.
Evan Longoria is not having a good time at the moment as Ian Kinsler's solo home run has given the Texas Rangers a 2-1 lead as we head to the 8th. More Darren Oliver works the 7th back out there to start the 8th, and it's a pinch hitter for the Rays as Sean Rodriguez pinch hits for Matt Joyce to start things here in the 8th inning. The new left fielder for Texas is Julio Ball. So out of this game is David Murphy, who had been in left.
Rodriguez just 1 for 15 this season as a pinch hitter. He's been shut out so far in the division series.
Rodriguez now. Dan Johnson scheduled next, and Carlos Pena here in the 8th. A strike to Rodriguez. He thought it was on the high side. He's down 1-2. More action behind Oliver. Darren O'Day, but up earlier. He is back up again. Away, and it's 2-2. Sean Rodriguez coming from the Angels in the Scott Kazmir deal. This is on the ground, foul outside of third.
You mentioned 1 for 15 as a pinch hitter. It's tough for a young hitter to have a lot of success as a pinch hitter. You sit back, you watch the game for 7 innings. Now you've got to get up there and get into the emotional aspect of the game. And tough for younger hitters to do that. They've been regulars their whole career.
Don't miss by a lot, and it is a full count. Oliver recorded 2 strikeouts in his first inning of relief. There's Dan Johnson waiting on deck. 3-2 pitch. Rodriguez fouls it off to the upper deck off to the right.
Oliver gives Ron Washington the upper hand in matchups now with Johnson on deck. Joe Madden's got to make the first move, take the left-hander out. Washington has O'Day ready for the right-hander.
Rodriguez strikes out. Gets the bad news from Jerry Meals. He's out number 1 of the 8th.
Well, what a job Oliver has done. It doesn't make any difference. Lefties, righties, he pounds the strike zone and creates movement with that cut fastball. Molina wanted it away, but it caught the inside corner for the strikeout.
One down for Dan Johnson. He's been aboard twice. Johnson to right field. Nelson Cruz going back at the wall. He leaps, can't get it. It's off the wall. Johnson scampers for second as Cruz guns it back in. Head first slide, and it's a wall ball double for Dan Johnson with 1 out in the 8th.
Boy, he just missed hitting that ball out of the ballpark to tie it. Oliver left the ball on the inner half of the plate, and Johnson's got a lot of power. You can see how he hooks this ball and hits it over the head of Nelson Cruz in right, about 3 feet from being a home run. Cruz is a good outfielder. He just didn't have enough time to get back on that low line drive off the top of the fence.
Now pinch runner will be coming out here. Looks like Desmond Jennings will pinch run for Dan Johnson. Representing the tying run here for the Rays with 1 out in the 8th.
Jennings started in right field in game 2. Johnson delivers a big hit with 1 out.
Well, there's been a patient Carlos Pena in this game. 3 after striking out 3 times in game 1. Pena has walked twice. And as you see, Desmond Jennings now at second base pinch running, representing the tying run. Pena walked in the 2nd. He walked in the 6th. Flied out to right in between. Slices it foul down the left field line, out of play.
Jennings has explosive speed. The rookie came up September 1st. Madden put him right into the game. He started in his first day in the big leagues in right.
Appears to be the heir apparent for Carl Crawford. He'll be a free agent at the end of this year and likely not returning with Tampa Bay. Takes a ball that's just off the outside edge.
Big slow breaking ball. He had a good look at it. thought he had thrown a strike. Put it in a good spot. If you're going to miss to a power hitter, you better miss away.
And in his career, 2 for 7 with 5 RBIs against Aaron Oliver. Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt for strike 2, 1-2. And an in-between where Carlos Pena's been a lot. The Rangers faithful standing as one with 2 strikes to Carlos Pena, 1 out in the 8th. Lines it into right field for a base hit. They're going to wave Jennings around, a bobble in right for Cruz, and the game is tied at 2. Carlos Pena comes up with a big base hit to tie the game in the 8th.
Again, lefty against lefty. Pena comes through and delivers a big hit to tie this game up. The pinch runner scores easily. That ball was out over the plate, and he hooks it into right field. There you can see the shift, and even against the shift, Pena gets the base hit in there to score Jennings easily. The bobble, I don't think, was of consequence. Jennings got a good break, and he was going to score.
So the Rays getting their second run. They tie the game. They do it against Oliver, and the Rays bench, which was very quiet, eerily so in the first 2 games. They're up and alive now. This game is tied 2-2. We're in the 8th from Texas.
Dan Johnson and Carlos Pena that got to Oliver that allowed the Rays to tie it up here in the 8th. Oliver had 3 strikeouts before Johnson hit one off the top of the fence in right field, and Pena delivers the RBI single.
Here's Jaron O'Day into the game. He had 6 wins and 8 decisions, both the career high. 2 seasons with the Rangers combined a 1.99 earned run average. He got in 72 games during this past regular season, an earned run average just up over 2 at 2.03.
The Rays forced the Rangers into the bullpen early. Derek Holland came in with nobody out and a man on in the 6th. And now they are 4 deep into their pen.
Today facing 2 batters in game 1. Single-handed strikeout in that outing as B.J. Upton stands in on the right side. And Upton sitting on strike 1. Upton with a double in the 6th inning. And he was able to knock in the Rays' first run. It tied the game at the time. Game is tied again, now 2-2. And a foul off to the right. As Upton down 0-2.
The Rays are right where they want to be in their bullpen. Benoit's in the game, and they have Soriano in reserve. Benoit retired the 2 batters he faced to close out the 7th.
Upton lays off, and it is a ball and 2 strikes. There's Rafael Soriano waiting in the pen for the Rays. He has not pitched in this series. Up top again for ball 2, 2-2.
O'Day's a little bit higher with his fastball than he wants to be. He needs to create that vision that everything is down, and he hasn't done that to Upton.
Runner goes as Upton, a very protective swing, just getting the piece.
Maney doesn't run often, but when he does, he usually makes it. He's 5 for 6 in steals going back to the regular season. The element of surprise, and Upton had to defend the strike zone and fouls it off.
B.J. Upton in his career against Darren O'Day, 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts. Waiting on a 2-2 pitch from O'Day. Upton strikes out. It's the second out of the 8th. And there's 2 away with Payne at first.
It's that sweeping breaking ball that breaks away from the right-handers, and from the side it's tough to hang in there. You can see it's off the plate, but with 2 strikes, Upton chases.
O'Day gets Upton, and before Jason Bartlett comes up, Ron Washington to the mound to make the pitching change. This game from Arlington, Texas is tied 2-2 with 2 outs in the 8th. Feliz coming in, the closer for the Rangers. Park in Arlington, Texas. Don Orsillo, Buck Martinez, and Mark Fine for Game 3. This best of 5 series, and the Tampa Bay Rays couldn't get a big hit in the first 2 games. They've had a couple of big hits in this game to tie the score 2-2.
They sure have. B.J. Upton, of course, got the scoring started, and then Carlos Pena, who's had a disappointing season with the batting average, hitting under 200, delivers against the left-hander Darren Oliver. And this is the type of thing that Tampa Bay has done all year long. They don't get a lot of hits. They get timely hits, and finally, they got a couple of hits to get them back into this series.
Well, the Texas Rangers are bringing their closer into this game in Neftali Feliz with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Had 70 appearances during the regular season, 40 saves and 43 save opportunities. And worked in Game 1 going in inning. He did walk 2. In fact, it was the first 2 batters that he faced. Made Ron Washington a little uneasy at the time, but then shut down the Rays.
But it was a good move by Washington at that point because it was a 5-1 game. Different story now, but Feliz has already been into the series and he doesn't have any first game jitters.
Carlos Pena's at first base, 2 outs in the 8th. Jason Bartlett is the batter. He is 0 for 3 from the number 9 spot in the Rays order as they check on Pena at first.
I think the element of surprise is gone for Pena. I don't expect him to run with 2 outs here.
Outside for ball 1 to Bartlett.
The only reliever left for Ron Washington in the bullpen is Dustin Nippert. But believe me, if he goes late into this game, he can use tomorrow's starter, Tommy Hunter. You can use whatever just to get you through this situation if he thinks he has a chance to win here. Nippert won't be the only one available.
Godwin gets the corner at 95 from Feliz. That's a ball and a strike to Jason Bartlett. Side ball 2-1. Neftali Feliz with 40 saves, 3rd in the American League, trailing only Rafael Soriano of these Rays and Joaquin Soria of the Kansas City Royals. 4th Ranger to have 40 saves in a season, joining John Wetland, who did it twice, Francisco Cordero, and Tom Henke. Back to first is Pena.
Feliz just 22 years old. Started out as the setup guy for Frank Francisco and took the job over and handled it very effectively.
'96 and outside. He's blew 2 of his first 11 save opportunities, but since then has converted 31 of 32 opportunities. And into this game in a tie game at the moment with 2 outs and a runner at first in the 8th. Soft toss to first and back is Pena. Jason Bartlett has been an important part of this Rays late inning action that they have had this season. They have had a lot of late inning rallies. And Bartlett, a .316 hitter in the 8th inning this season with 14 RBIs.
They have outscored their opponent 61 runs during the regular season in the 8th inning.
3-1 to Bartlett. And is fouled off and a full count now. Feliz that time reaching back at 97.
You can see the outfield is playing deep. Bourbon, the defensive replacement's got great speed. Hamilton's deep in center. They've got to cut the ball off if Bartlett should hit a ball in the gap. With that and the full count, they're still holding Pena at first, not wanting to play behind him and give him a running start.
Bartlett will take the walk and the go-ahead run in scoring position as Bartlett walks down to first base. With more on the Rangers closer, here's Mark Fine.
Yeah, Don, Buck was talking about that first outing for him in this series, and Ron Washington said, you know, he turned to Mike Maddox. He said, what's the backup plan? Maddox shook his head. They didn't have a backup plan. He said he didn't think Feliz was scared, even though it was his first postseason appearance. He thought he was overhyped. You see Molina, he keeps pushing his hands down, telling him to calm down. Maybe a little overhyped here.
Walked the first 2 batters that he faced in Tropicana Field. In that first outing, he walks the first batter that he faces here in Game 3. And pushes Pena to second base with 2 outs. As John Jaso stands in on the left side. 0 for 3 with a walk in this game. As Jaso takes strike 1.
Now with the go-ahead run at second. The outfield has to come in and play straight up. They can't play deep any longer. So they've all come in a few steps.
Jaso flares it foul to the left and is down 0-2. Two outs in the 8th inning in a tie game. Haney at second, Bartlett at first, and 0-2. He's fouled straight back to the screen.
98, and Jaso got a piece of it. When you're pretty confident you're going to get a fastball, you can get the barrel out. He's had a tough time in these situations, but all bets are off right now. He had a pretty good rip at that fastball. Molina wants to talk it over with Feliz before they throw another pitch. He's got a great curveball.
If you're thinking beyond this inning for Feliz, he pitched more than an inning just 6 times this season. And the season high was 2 innings, which he did 3 times. And just one of the last 19 appearances have been over an inning. Two on, 2 down, 8th inning.
No sign.
Jaso lines it into center field, in for a base hit. From second base comes Pena. The throw from Hamilton's offline, and the Rays take the lead. Throw to second is not in time. Tampa Bay has struck twice here in the 8th, and they take the lead.
What an at-bat by Jaso. Feliz came with the slider and hung it out over the plate, and he takes it right back into center field. Only fitting that Pena would score the go-ahead run after tying it up. But Jaso in the leadoff spot, fouled off a tough fastball, and then that slider is middle, and he goes right back up the middle. Hamilton's got a strong arm, but Pena, running with 2 strikes, ran on contact and scores easily. The throw was offline. Pena got a great break on contact and scores from second to give the Rays the lead.
With the throw going to the plate, Jaso is able to move up to second base, so it's second and third now as the Rays look to obtain some insurance. With 2 outs in the inning, and Ben Zobrist at the plate, who hits a fly ball in the air to shallow right. Out goes Kinsler. He's under it, and he puts it away. Tampa Bay ties the game, then takes the lead with 2 runs in the 8th. We head to the last of the 8th, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Blackberry. The Tampa Bay Rays scored twice in the top half of the 8th inning. They've taken a 3-2 lead as the Rangers come to bat in the last of the 8th.
The 8th inning has been the Rays' inning all year long. They have outscored their opponent by 61 runs in the 8th inning. Ben Zobrist defensively moves to right. Sean Rodriguez pinch hit for the right fielder Matt Joyce. He takes over at second. Another strength of this team is their versatility.
Especially with both the guys you just mentioned, Zobrist and Rodriguez, who have both played all over. Elvis Andrus leads it off in the 8th. Yeah, take strike one. Bit of a wait for Joaquin Benoit as his team gathered those 2 runs in the top half of this inning. We'll see if that has any impact on him whatsoever as he works here in the 8th. But as you said last inning, now the Rays have this lined up perfectly.
This is exactly what they were hopeful of, getting Benoit into the game early.
Andrus with the bunt showing grabs the attention of Longoria. There is Soriano.
They will use Soriano in the 8th if they need him.
Andrus takes the strike, and it's 1-2.
Benoit is a very tough customer. He throws 96. He's got a good slider, but he's got an exceptional changeup. One of those changeups that he can throw any time, and he will use that as his out pitch.
Led the Rays with 25 holds. Andrus takes ball 2-2-2, 96 on the gas that time.
Benoit, coming back from rotator cuff surgery, had good days and bad days in spring training. The command would be off one day, the velocity would be good the next day, but he couldn't get them both on the same day. That's why he started out in AAA.
Andrus hits it on the ground at first. It's picked by Pena. He'll need help as Benoit covers the bag for the out. And diving head first was Andrus, trying to get there first. He cannot. There's the first out of the 8th.
Look at the positioning of Pena, playing well off the line, and he gloves it and knows that Benoit's going to be on the bag. Great execution defensively. This is a Gold Glove play by a former Gold Glover. Benoit right on time at first.
1 out in the 8th, and Michael Young the batter. He was 0 for 3 in the game. He's grounded out twice and struck out. Away for ball 1.
It's tough to mount a rally against Benoit because he doesn't give up any base runners. Just 6.12 per 9 innings pitched.
Young takes the strike, and it evens a count at 1-1. Joaquin Benoit did not pitch in game 1 or game 2, and making his first appearance in the postseason. Young with a swing and a miss. Foul tipped to the catcher's mitt. It's 1-2.
That's the changeup, and it's a very good one. It's 87, but still the separation is effective.
Not close, up and away. And it evens at 2-2 to Michael Young. Josh Hamilton waits on deck. If it gets further, Vladimir Guerrero in the hole right now with 1 out in the 8th. Strike 3 call over the outside corner. First strikeout for Benoit, and there's 2 down in the 8th. Let's check in with Matt Weiner in Atlanta at the studio. Matt. K-Matt back here where Hamilton sends one to left. Crawford on the run, dives and makes the catch in left field. His second very good catch in 2 innings. It's a 1-2-3-8. We head to the 9th with the Rays on top 3-2. On TBS, TNT, True TV, and CBS. It is the 9th inning back at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington with the Tampa Bay Rays on top 3-2 as they try to obtain some insurance here against the Texas Rangers closer, Tali Feliz, who came into the game in the 8th inning, faced 3 batters. And it's Carl Crawford who leads it off and fouls it off back into the top deck. The catch by Crawford to end last inning, and the last 2 catches he's made in left.
Yeah, he can win a game with his glove, with his legs, or with his bat. That's why he's such an attractive free agent should he hit the market this offseason.
Do you agree the most attractive free agent heading into the offseason?
I think so.
Two is outside, and it's 2-2.
In the prime of his career, postseason experience, can hit second or third in the order, doesn't like to hit leadoff. Never really fared that well there, but a Gold Glove caliber left fielder.
It's out of the way of a pitch down and in, and it's a full count.
And speed is coming back into the game dramatically. Crawford with 47 steals. Everybody in baseball is starting to address athleticism again, and he's the top of the list.
Crawford down the line in right field. It will twist foul. And ahead of that, he broke his bat, so we'll have to get a new one here with a full count. It is quiet here for the first time all day. It has moved into early evening here in Texas. But this is as quiet as we have heard Rangers ballpark in Arlington as they trail in this game 3-2 with the Rays batting in the ninth.
An awful lot of concerned fans around this ballpark wondering if Tampa Bay wins this. Are they really capable of coming back?
And the Rangers have never won a postseason series. And here they come home up 2-0 in this series. Had 2 leads in this game. As we see Soriano, the closer for the Rays, getting ready for the ninth inning that include Guerrero, Cruz, and Kinsler. Here's a fly ball out to deep right field. Back goes Cruz at the wall. He leaps and it is gone. An insurance run for the Tampa Bay Rays as Carl Crawford takes it out of the yard, and the Rays lead it 4-2.
All of a sudden, everything is right with Tampa Bay. They took the lead in the 8th inning, their most productive inning of the season. Benoit was into the game in the 7th. Crawford gives them insurance, and Soriano is ready to come in for the bottom of the ninth. Carl Crawford, a multi-dimensional threat, hits the home run into the bullpen in right. He had 19 home runs in the regular season, and he gives the Rays a little cushion.
An 8-pitch at bat, and the 8th pitch ends up in the bullpen to give the Rays a 2-run hit and sends the Rangers closers into the dugout. It's a 4-2 Tampa Bay lead. Run after an 8-pitch at bat, which chases Neftali Feliz from the game. And Texas with another pitcher and their last reliever per se coming from the pen in Dustin Nippert.
Well, Matt Garza did his job setting the tone for the Rays, holding the Rangers in check early. Dustin Nippert has made 38 appearances. This is his first appearance in the postseason.
Still nobody out in the ninth as Longoria takes strike one. And Buck, what does this do to Neftali Feliz and his psyche?
Yeah, this is pretty damaging. Even when he closed out the first game after a couple of walks, he came back and got a couple of strikeouts, but now he doesn't get an out here in the ninth, and Crawford takes him deep. You got to wonder how he's going to hold up through the rest of this series. Just 22 years old. Obviously the first taste of postseason play for Neftali Feliz.
And no doubt those sting the most. As Longoria now takes one to right field, sending Cruz back. This will stay in the yard, well short of the track. And Longoria is retired for the first out of the ninth. If this does go to a 4th game in this series, this would be the pitching matchup. Wade Davis, 29 starts, was 12-10 during the regular season. Tommy Hunter in 22 starts, 13-4. And right now, the Tampa Bay Rays have a 4-2 advantage with one out in their half of the ninth inning.
Tommy Hunter with the best winning percentage in the American League at 13-4. Points ahead of David Price.
John Rodriguez struck out in the 8th inning, pinch hitting for Matt Joyce. And he's 0 for 6 in the American League Division Series. As he lines one into left field for a base hit. Going to play it is Bourbon, as at first base is Rodriguez with a 1-out single.
A couple of things have changed here now for Tampa Bay. Obviously, now the lights have taken full effect. They can see the ball a little bit better. Hitters are having better at bats, but more than anything, they got a couple of big hits. First by B.J. Upton to get them back into the game. Then Dan Johnson had the double off the fence. Carlos Pena gives them the lead, and then they score another run on a base hit by John Jaso. And that's what they talked about. Everybody said all we need is to get a couple of big hits, and that will free us up. And it certainly looks as that's the case now.
And should they win this game, no doubt the pressure goes back the other way to the Texas Rangers. The loose group of Rays right now on top in this one, 4-2 with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Rodriguez is at first base, and Ibar pinch hitting here in the DH spot after Desmond Jennings had run in the 7th inning. Ibar added to the roster for Game 2 when Rocco Baldelli was taken off the roster. Low throw to first and dug out by Moreland as Nippert almost threw that one away.
Rodriguez is always a threat to steal, and Moreland does a good job of knocking the low throw down. Popped it into the air, and he was able to glove it.
It's away.
Jackie Moore calling the running game defense for Benji Molina. Throw overs, slide step, pitch out.
Lamar takes a 1-0 for ball 2, 2-0. His average and power numbers for Ibar dropping after the All-Star break, and just 1 home run after the break. After having 5 in the first half, his average slipped over 40 points in the second half and was left off originally the postseason roster to start this series. He was fabulous in the postseason for the Rays back in 2008. Hit .353 and 34 at bats in 08. And 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. And run for the Rays in 08. Soriano getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. Ibar to center field. Josh Hamilton headed back and over to make the running catch for the 2nd out of the inning. As Rodriguez gets back to first, 2 down. Here is Mark Fine with more on Joe Maddon.
Yeah, Don, you know, this thing isn't over yet, obviously, but you talk about the confidence of Joe Maddon, his wanting to keep loose. I want to remind you guys, we went and met with him before the game. As we walked out, he shook each and every one of our hands, and he said, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Again, I don't think he was being overconfident. I just think it shows you the power of positive thinking of Joe Maddon, the way he thinks, guys.
When you think of Joe Maddon, Mark, and you think the positive thinking, you took that man to turn around an organization. Didn't do it alone, but to change the mindset from the Devil Rays and all the losing all those years to make them think they could do what they did in 2008 and make them think what they could do here in 2010.
And it was just very matter of fact. Oh, we'll see you tomorrow.
2 outs here in the 9th. And Pena batting as they check at first on Rodriguez.
The Rays have out-hit the Rangers 10-5. After falling behind 19-8 in the first 2 games, they have closed the gap dramatically.
It was Carlos Pena who tied the game with the Rays trailing 2-1 in the 8th with his single, scoring Jennings from second base to tie it up. As you mentioned earlier, during the regular season, the Rays doing so much of their damage in the 8th and 9th innings, and it took the first 2 games before they get back to being the Rays again, and here they are in Game 3 doing that damage late.
Yeah, the Rangers outplayed them at their own game, creating havoc on the bases. Today they've had plenty of opportunities. In fact, they have had base runners on in every inning but the 3rd.
With a swing and a miss. Joe Madden, for Carlos Pena to get hot again is so important after the season that he had. And the first game in which he went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Much different look to him in this game. Very patient early on, walking twice in the game. And then that game-tying single I mentioned in the 8th. Into the shift for him once again, as they have been throughout this entire series. As Pena takes ball 2.
Everybody we talked to that was involved with the travel party with the Rays traveling from Tampa to Dallas said you'd have thought we were up 2-0 instead of down 2-0. The guys didn't let it affect them one bit.
Soriano just looking on now as he will be dealing with Vladimir Guerrero, Nelson Cruz, and Ian Kinsler. The trio anticipated in the bottom of the 9th. As Pena takes a pitch outside. No patience from Carlos Pena. And it is Cliff Lee who's now warming in the pen for the Rangers.
Threw 104 pitches in 7 innings on Wednesday. We saw earlier a glimpse of C.J. Wilson also down in the bullpen earlier in this ball. There's Wilson right there sitting in the chair. You never know. Tied up, you might have to call upon one of your starters.
3-1 to Carlos Pena. There goes the runner at first, and Pena fouls it off to the left as he gets jammed. Sean Rodriguez had been off with the pitch. Full count now. He'll be off again.
Seeing 2 starters down in the bullpen in the 9th inning suggests just how volatile a 5-game series can be. Once you lose the momentum, you might not get a chance to get it back.
Moreland in from first. To let the pitcher know he's not going to be holding him on here. As getting a start at first will be Rodriguez with 2 outs in the 9th. To Pena. He's in the air to right center field, deep and far as Hamilton goes back towards the track, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Carlos Pena, and the Rays have taken a 6-2 lead. So more than enough room now for Tampa Bay. He came into this inning with just a 1-run lead, and a 3-run top of the 9th inning so far. They lead at 6-2.
This team has a lot of heart. They won 96 games during the regular season, and they said, you know what, that has some value. It took a while to show up, but this team has some magic in the late innings. They scored 2 in the 8th, and now they've scored 3 in the 9th.
Now a pop-up on the infield right side as Kinsler backs up and makes the catch, with the damage most certainly done. A 3-run 9th inning for the Rays. Crawford homers, Pena homers, and it's 6-2 Rays. for the Tampa Bay Rays. And on is their fine closer, Rafael Soriano. In what is now a non-save situation during the regular season, 45 out of 48. And 64 appearances as Guerrero takes strike one.
Yeah, this is a save the momentum situation. Don't allow the Rangers to have any kind of encouragement here in the ninth inning. Just put your foot on their throat and end the inning. You don't want them to think that they can come back against Soriano.
Guerrero fouls it off for Soriano. The 45 saves this year passed his career total combined coming into the year. 43 saves coming into 2010. Only 7 of those coming last year as a member of the Atlanta Braves. And the other closer, just look on now, and you're going to wonder about what's going through his head after a rocky outing here and a non-save situation, but a crucial situation for the Rangers.
The first thing the Rangers better think about, if they do indeed lose this game, is that they're up 2-1. You can't allow the feeling of getting beat here in your home ballpark to affect you for tomorrow.
Guerrero grounds it foul, and it's a relatively quick turnaround for tomorrow as well.
Early day game, game 2, local start time 12:07. So you don't have much of a chance to feel sorry for yourself. You just got to strap it on and get them early tomorrow.
1 o'clock start time, Eastern Standard Time, as Guerrero will hit a number foul.
Minwant continues a very fine season. He came in and retired all 5 batters he faced. And then the Pena home run has given Soriano a nice cushion into ninth. What you want now is a very effective ninth inning and not many pitches from Soriano.
His 1-2 pitch to Guerrero is just outside. It's 2-2. Soriano has not allowed more than 2 runs in a game all season. He was untouchable in Tropicana Field, 22 out of 22 in save opportunities at home. As Guerrero with a big swing and a miss strikes out for the first out of the ninth.
Now the Rays have been led by Carlos Pena for his run in Tampa Bay, and he delivers a couple of big hits here tonight. You can see this is a loose ball club right now. It looks like Longoria is using that as a camera to capture the ninth inning action. And he got Pena's home run. Carlos Pena delivered a couple of big hits for this team, hitting in the 7th spot in the order.
One out for Nelson Cruz, who takes strike 1 from Soriano. Nelson Cruz 0 for 3 in the game. Some of these Rangers fans making their way to the exits. The Antlers. Boom is headed to the parking lot at the moment.
They'll bring the Antlers back tomorrow, but the Brooms will stay home.
So 1-2 to Nelson Cruz with Ian Kinsler waiting on deck. 1 out in the ninth. Cruz thought about it, but lays off and takes a pitch down and away. Soriano during the regular season 2 for 2 in save opportunities against Texas. Did not allow a run against the Rangers, in fact. And again, this is a non-save situation, but trying to finish off game 3 and for the Rays get their first win of the postseason in 2010. Cruz hits a fly ball out towards left center field and deep. That ball is back and that ball is gone. So the Rangers not going quietly in the bottom of the ninth. You mentioned Soriano have not given up a run to the Rangers. There's a home run for Nelson Cruz in 22 during the regular season. And Rays now 6-3. Tampa Bay on top.
Well, what a short, powerful stroke by Nelson Cruz. Again, staying in the big part of the field. His second home run in this series. The other going to straightaway center. This one going to left center. But watch how he stays on this pitch. That's not a bad pitch. It's a breaking ball. He is short and quick to the ball. And just drives this breaking ball into the seats in left center.
I talked about it earlier, Flair, for the dramatic. He had 3 walk-off home runs this season for the Texas Rangers. There's a solo shot here with 1 out. Here's Ian Kinsler, who has also homered in this game. He chased Matt Garza from the game with his home run in the 7th inning, which at the time gave the Texas Rangers a 2-1 advantage. It's the last time they led in this game.
Kinsler here with his second home run. 3-2 pitch. Gave the Rangers the lead. Matt Garza had done a terrific job holding the Rangers down.
1-1 to Kinsler. He's in the air towards left center field. Up and will get it as he runs into left center to make the grab. He got a great jump, and there's 2 down in the 9th. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Rafael Soriano, who surrendered only 4 home runs in the regular season, gives up a home run to Nelson Cruz, but now has the 2nd out of the 9th. And it was Julio Bourbon, who had taken over defensively for David Murphy in left field, who bats for the first time. And he takes strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. Bourbon hits a fly ball to right field. Ben Zobrist is there, and the Tampa Bay Rays have won Game 3 of the series and force a Game 4 of this American League Division Series as the Rays win it 6-3 to take Game 3. So the Rays able to come from behind and win this one as they win 6-3. Coming up next, it's Game 3 between the Twins and Yankees. Now let's send it to Ernie Johnson in New York.
That is so nice.